Guido, you think it's possible to watch the entirety of WandaVision before you start spoiling it? No, that's not the way it works. I don't think you can cram in 6 hours of TV in a matter of minutes. But if you stick around and want to hear a little bit more about it, we're definitely going to be talking about it. I'm going to also be playing part 2 of Cavalier. I'm going to try to 100% that while we're doing that. 6 times speed, not even a chance. Not even a chance. All right. All right, so let me... You're out then? Guido, stick around. At least let everybody else know I'm live. Tell them to get in here. All right. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Hey, Guido, quick question. When I do the at everyone in the announcement, are you guys getting that finally? Because I thought I was sending it, and I thought you guys were getting it, and then found out a few weeks ago that you weren't. But are you getting it now? Does it come out? Did you guys get pinged on that? And can you see it? It's not tagging anyone. That's interesting because everyone goes out. Okay. I have to figure that part out. I think you have the ability to add everyone in there too. Just in case. Just in case. All right, what is up, everyone? Welcome. All right, let me bring in the voices of my guest. There's the voices of my guest. Behind camera one is somebody I believe we already know. My good friend from Among Us, who's my killing partner, Captain Bay.
Guilty. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Captain, you messed me up on our last game, man. When you got caught.
Oh my gosh, we had such a good start too.
We did. We did.
I'm like, I double kill, and I had a kill.
I was like, we could have had each other's back.
And literally, the second I walk out of electrical, they're just sitting there waiting for me. I was like, this is awkward. I should have gone up and vented, but yeah. You also get special guest River, my cat. She decided to join us too. So.
River decided to join us. Okay,
she hopped in right there.
Great. And then the second camera that pops up is our comic book movie reviews, which is actually his YouTube page, guest Cameron. So Cameron, welcome.
Thanks for having me today on this live stream. And we've got some champions. They're going to be contesting some things, and we're going to drop a little bit of Marvel talk along the way.
Yeah, definitely. So I am going to be playing Cavalier, not Cavalier, Uncollected Chapter 2 while we're talking about this, because I need, I think if I remember correctly, and Captain Bay, this will make sense to you. Cameron, we opened up Crystals for Champs. I don't know if you've ever looked at this game before, but we opened up Crystals for Champs. And I need...
Sometimes too many crystals.
Too many crystals. But this is one I'm earning. If I get 285 more shards, I can buy the 2,000 shards and get one more attempt at the feature through the system. Yeah.
Six-star one.
If that happens, I'll do that while we are doing this live.
Love it. Have you gotten any good luck out of that featured yet?
Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I got lucky and pulled him as well.
You got APOC, didn't you?
I've gotten APOC twice. I got Ghost. I got a lot from that one. Yeah,
I got Falcon.
I can't complain. I think I got Falcon too. Yeah.
I got Professor X. I think one of the first crystals.
He's one of the few I didn't get. I also got Dragon Man, and I've pulled Long Shot 3 times. I've gone for that crystal way more than I probably should have.
Upload the opening after the stream. I might, I might just record. I don't normally record my video stuff. I usually just wait for the YouTube the finished process, and then I go back and clip it. But I may actually record this. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right. So, WandaVision, right? Great episode, great series. It started off. Well, first off, before we get started,
confusing.
I don't know if it was weird. I thought it was very nostalgic how it showed the old style TV, Dick Van Dyke style stuff.
They did a really good job of making it feel like it was an old show because they did practical effects and everything and all that kind of stuff. So it was really cool the way that they did it. And for people that come in and like probably had never seen Marvel or anything, they just saw this like, oh, what's this? They probably thought, oh yeah, this is just an old time show.
Yep.
Well, they did a very good job with doing their homework because they actually brought in a consultant who was Dick Van Dyke for episodes 1. Yeah. And so he came on. They had the whole live studio audience, so that laugh track was legitimate. It felt like that old 50s show, at least the first episode did, because they tried to make it as authentic as possible.
Yeah, definitely. That was the first time I watched the show. I was like, oh, this reminds me of when I was younger watching the syndications. I know there's going to be some people out there that said, oh, Ghost, you watched this when you were a kid. Like, yeah, the syndications, not the actual shows. Don't come at me. Don't at me about my age.
At Nick at Night.
Yeah, Nick at Night. Watching it with my grandparents when I was a kid. So it was a lot of fun to watch those old black and white shows. So let's talk about episode 1 for as much as we can remember. I did go back and rewatch it over the weekend, but still, that's a lot to intake in like one sitting.
Yeah. I rewatched each episode like twice as they came out, like once as it came out, and then one more before I did my streams. But yeah, I didn't go back and rewatch it. But I feel like I've watched enough breakdown videos of people talking about it that I know I remember a good amount.
Yeah. So, did you guys feel out the gate that Agatha was Agatha, or Agnes was Agatha out the gate?
I'll let you
I will be honest. So during the first 2 episodes, I did not think that Agnes was Agatha Harkness. I did think that there was going to be Agatha Harkness, but I didn't think it was going to be Catherine Hahn. I thought it was going to be Deborah Jo Rupp. And the reason why I thought that was because Deborah has a great agent, and she got like near top billing. Like after it was like Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany, and then the next name, Deborah Jo Rupp. And I'm like, oh, okay. So she's important. And then she shows up again, even though her husband doesn't show up in episode 2. I was like, I think that Agnes is a red herring, and I think it's Deborah Jo Rupp. And then after like a couple more episodes, I was like, yeah, I was wrong about that.
But the same thing with like a lot of people thought Dottie was going to be more important, and she was nothing.
Nope, she definitely was nothing.
Devil's in the details, babe.
Yeah,
it's not the only place he is. It's not the only place he is. So on episode 1, we got the introduction to Deb, who her husband was Vision's boss.
Yeah.
For those who remember, Vision worked at an office that they were unsure what they did.
Yeah, it was the United States government. Do we produce something? No. Do we manufacture? No. Do we ship? No. What do we do? I don't know, but our production's gone up 300% since you've gotten here.
Hey.
You're right. Like Okay, like so we don't do anything, but it's went up. All right, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I found that odd that Vision didn't question any of that out the gate, and it as the episodes progress, he finally started like, well, what's going on? What is happening?
Yeah, he starts to pick up on all the subtle cues of like what's actually going on. It's kind of like something's off. Like I don't remember anything before I was here. That's a problem. That's not normal.
Yeah, and so at that point, I know some people thought that there were two. No, Vision. She had stolen Vision's body. Basically, is what Hayward.
That's what we were led to believe by the
around.
episode.
Led to believe by the episode. Yeah. Was it 3, 4?
It was episode 5. It was episode 5 that we were led to believe that.
5 we get the footage. Yeah.
5 is
first get the outside of the hex video.
Yeah, 4 was the backstory of Monica and what she was going through, and kind of like the backstory of episodes 1 through 3. And then episode 5 is when Hayward was like, she stole the body. Here's the footage to prove it.
Yeah,
right.
Leading
that took his body.
Yeah, Hayward is the kind of guy that would deep fake an ex-girlfriend to make her look bad.
Pretty much. So episode 1 and 2 were pretty much just set up episodes. I thought to kind of introduce certain characters into it. I think that was the first time we seen Monica Rambeau in the show, but she was playing a character called Gwendolyn, right?
Geraldine.
That's right, Geraldine.
Yeah. I've seen every episode like 4 times, so I'm like, it's drilled.
Yeah,
drill in your head.
Those episodes are basically just to set the whole like reality TV show, but sitcom TV show vibe and everything, and just let you know like, hey, it's gonna progress through the years, kind of thing. I was like, oh, okay, I see where this is going. But yeah, those first 2 definitely kind of dragged on. Like in my finale breakdown, I gave a list of like my favorite episodes in order, and 1 and 2 were my least favorites.
Hey, what's going on, Animal?
So,
but yeah,
I think that was everyone.
Yeah.
Episodes 1 and 2, and here's the thing: they bring something to the story, but they're not bringing something to the narrative. They're pieces, but they're not the edges. They're not the corners, and so they're just out there. And then as the show progresses, you start getting those edges of the puzzle. You start getting the corners, and you see where those episodes piece in. But if you just got those pieces by themselves, you're like, what am I looking at? And that's kind of why a lot of people think 1 and 2 are their least favorite. And I get it. It's hard to place what's going on without some framework.
Right, but there was definitely some build-up in that. Like the sword helicopter that showed up that was actually a drone. But because of how Wanda was changing things to fit the time narrative, it switched to the style of from what it was.
Yeah, 50s and 60s or whatever they.
Right.
Ow! Why? Cat's trying to bite me.
Cat's trying to bite you.
And for her to jump. There we go. All right, no more cat.
Yes.
Well, cool. So why? I wonder why did we ever get an explanation on why the helicopter stayed a color and everything else is black and white?
It's your shoe.
I don't think that they explained exactly why it stayed in color, but I would think that one of the explanations, or something that might be a good explanation, was that helicopter. No, I have no clue. But I was thinking maybe it was outside of the hex. And
outside the hex. Right.
Oh yeah, I was thinking that too. It's like, maybe because it came from outside, but then you also have Dottie when she cuts her hand, that shows up red. And the toaster, the blinking light is red.
Yeah.
Like, why are those? What's the common denominator between those 3 things? helicopter, blood.
Well, the blinking light, the red blinking light on the
The toaster represented
toaster.
Vision, yeah, and the
No,
bomb.
it didn't
and the
represent
bomb. Well,
the bomb
Yeah.
more than Vision.
okay.
It represented both.
Yeah, one of the theories that I kind of jumped on that I still feel like it was kind of true was that each of those commercial episodes represented a different Infinity Stone, and it actually works really well until like the last one, kind of, or I don't know, the last two are kind of hard to place, but like the first four, it worked so well. So like the toaster represented Vision, and Vision represents the Mind Stone, so that's the Mind Stone. Let's see if I can remember all the commercials now.
Right.
There was the Lagos
Paper towels.
and there was the red spill of the drink that looked like the ether, whatever. The Hydra cube, a Hydra soap, like it was a tesseract
shape of the cube,
like a tesseract. Space Stone. And then
You're thinking of the Hydra watch. Yep.
Strucker watches, like that's the Time Stone. And then we had the kid stranded on
Yo Magic Yogurt.
Yo Magic Yogurt, which was like
turned into a skull.
At that point, I'm like, okay, well maybe those were just a kind of coincidence. But at the same time, like you look at it, there's a lot of purple, like in the skyline or whatever. And there was a couple of the surfboard had like purple on it. So I was like, okay, maybe this somehow represents the Power Stone. But it wasn't super obvious, and I was like, it couldn't also. I didn't see how it could represent the Soul Stone. I didn't really see much of that, or maybe this kid is losing his soul or whatever. I don't know. And then
he kind of looked like a Red Skull, and lost the soul. So the Soul Stone,
and then the final one was the Nexus. Ask your doctor one, and I was like, I don't see how that fit into that whole theory. So it's kind of like I was kind of bummed out about that did end up panning out because. After those first four, I was sure. I'm like, this makes so much sense that each one of these is representing an Infinity Stone as well as a period of Wanda's life, and it was kind of cool. But
true. So we got Animal here saying, "I'm watching the last episode right now, probably for the 5th time." So Mick says, you are everywhere. It's good that you are everywhere. Night just came here, give you the light, Ghost Dog, and good night. Manuel says, "Sup, Bay and Ghost." So what's on, Manuel? Appreciate you guys stopping by, hanging out. If you guys have any questions or any theories you want to add to what we're talking about, more than welcome to. I'm trying to make this a complete 2-hour stream. I don't know how long we'll have everybody, but I don't know. Catherine, are you planning on streaming additional stuff tonight?
No, I didn't have any plans to stream tonight. So
yes.
Yeah, the Nexus. I also thought that Manuel said he thought the Nexus was meant for Wanda being a Nexus next level mutant.
Yeah, her being like a Nexus being. Yeah.
That is probably what the name of it was coming from. Wanda is a Nexus character. And if I remember correctly, what that means is that throughout the various multiverse characters, the characters that share some sort of name or certain attributes, Nexus characters are constant and they don't change. They are who they are in whatever universe that is. And Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch, is one of those Nexus characters. So that was kind of like a nod to the character of who she was or who she is in the comics, that Nexus being that is constant through all the multiverses.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And before we get any further, for those of you who don't know Cameron and haven't seen what he does, if you want, in the description below, I've added a link to his channel. Please drop over there and drop him a sub. Click the bell for the notifications, because after this talk, I believe he's got the Snyder Cut Justice League movie that he's probably going to be talking about at some point this week.
Oh, I got to watch it first.
Yeah, as he watches it. But then we got Falcon and Winter Soldier starting on Friday, which we may dive into a little bit on as well. Cool.
So I was just going to say, which of all the Disney Plus shows that were announced, like which one are you guys like most excited for? Or was WandaVision the one you were most excited for?
Considering the fact that considering the fact that WandaVision was supposed to come out last of the shows and ended up coming out first, I thought it was a good kickoff. but I think I'm looking more forward to Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think it's going to be more like the movies that we're used to watching.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I definitely enjoyed WandaVision.
Yeah, it definitely was very different from any MCU we've had before, and I think that was the thing that a lot of people struggled with after those first 2 episodes, because so many people were ready to just like write off the show after the first 2 episodes, right?
Exactly.
And it's just like, no, come on, guys, it's Kevin Feige.
I enjoyed the first 2 episodes.
Marvel, like,
a lot.
Give it some time. Like, yeah, obviously, like I said, they were my 2 least favorite, but I'd still watch those any day over a lot of other things.
Correct.
Captain, I want you to go next. I already have my answer, but I
Which
just
one
want
I
to
was
hear
the
what
most
everybody
excited
is.
about?
Exactly.
Okay. Honestly,
it's Loki. It's Loki.
I'm tempted to say Loki. So, just so you have a little bit of a background. So, Loki is a character in this Marvel Contest of Champions game, and he's not, one of the best characters. He's not one of the worst characters, but he's definitely not one that like you pull him and you're just like, yes. And when he, at this point, it was a couple years ago. I went for some kind of those featured ones he was talking about earlier. So those ones cost more. You can either spend 10,000 shards or 15,000 shards. And the 15,000 one has a smaller champion pool, so you have a better chance of getting like a targeted character as opposed to like a giant pool of them. And so I tested my luck on the featured ones because I was like trying to get a certain character. And I've opened 4 of them, and 3 of them were Loki. And that was not good at all. And ever since then, it's just become the meme, and I've become known as the Loki guy in the community. Captain Loki is what some people even call me.
That's right.
So yeah. So Loki, but and the thing is, like, I love Loki the character in the MCU. Like, he's top 2, top 3 villain in the entire MCU, and he's a great character, which I hope someday maybe they'll buff him in MCOC, and then who will be laughing then? But no, I don't think that's the one.
You haven't ranked them up yet, so you still have to rank them up.
This is true. But I would say, honestly, like, I was really looking forward to WandaVision. I think that was the one I was when they first announced all the ones, I was most excited to see what was gonna happen with it, just because it, they teased us saying that was gonna be like vaguely taking off of like House of M, and I'll throw it out there too. I haven't read much comics, or like really any comics, but I've watched a lot of people's videos talking about comics and what happens in the comics and all that kind of stuff. So I have a pretty decent knowledge about what goes on. So I was really excited to see what they were going to do with that show, if they were going to introduce mutants, if they were going to just do multiverse crazy stuff. None of that ended up happening, obviously, but leading into it, I was like, yo, there's a lot of stuff that can happen in this show, and it's going to be crazy. It's going to be weird, like, how's Vision back, like, all of that, and how's Darcy, how's Agent Wu, how does everyone tie into this? And I was just really excited about the mystery going into the show, and it did not disappoint. So,
and I was saying, I heard they spent $225,000 or $225 million for WandaVision, the WandaVision series. That's nuts. That may be true, but I'm hearing they're spending more than that for Falcon and Winter Soldier, and it's got less episodes.
It's only 6, right?
Yeah.
It's lame. They were supposed to be.
Yeah, it's a short one.
There were supposed to be 10 for WandaVision, but they had to cut the last one and consolidate some stuff, cut out some storylines, apparently. All right, Cameron, what's yours?
My favorite Disney Plus show that has been announced is something that is practically directly from the comics, and that series is What If. This is the retelling of certain comic book movies, MCU movies, and changing a big aspect, saying, what if this was different? Which is something that was directly taken from the comics. I have the very first What If comic where it says, what if Spider-Man joined the Fantastic Four, which is something that he tried to do in Amazing Spider-Man #1. And so, of course, they'd be the Fantastic Five, so the alliteration still works. But I'm excited to see what happens with the Doctor Strange episode, because it looks like he's fighting a dark version of himself. I'm excited to see what's going to happen with this Guardians of the Galaxy and Black Panther conglomeration, because T'Challa is Star-Lord in this episode. I'm excited to see the new super soldier, which is not going to be Steve Rogers, but it's going to, oh God, what is her name? I just
Agent
blanked on.
Carter.
Thank you. It's going to be Peggy Carter. She's going to be, she's going to get the super soldier serum, which means she's going to be Captain Britain. We're going to get the very first Captain Britain in the MCU. And then it looks like Steve is going to be wearing a prototype suit. So he's going to become like the first Iron Man. These are some next level things that I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of directions they're going to go to. And it's also going to be the very first appearance of Marvel Zombies as shown in one of the trailers. I cannot be more excited for what if, even though it technically won't be canon. I am waiting for it. Plus they get they get pretty much every single person who had portrayed a character. If that character is coming in the show, they are voicing this character since it's animated.
Really?
So
I was wondering about that.
very,
I wasn't sure.
This is going to be the very last performance of Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther. So I couldn't be, if I couldn't be more excited, that has me hooked.
That's pretty awesome. We just got a little bit of a raid. We got AQ Shadow raid going on. So AQ Shadow, Lefty Knox, Fucking Diz, and Quiz. If I'm going to jack this up. Quiz Ardina. Guys, welcome and thank you very much for stopping by for our WandaVision talk. FYI spoiler, if you haven't watched WandaVision, what are you doing? What are you doing? Accelerate.
10 days.
Fun. Go
10
binge it all
days to
tonight.
watch it all.
If you haven't watched it,
I binge watched it for the second time Sunday. So if I can do that, you had plenty of time.
Yeah, I had a buddy who he told me to tell him when the entire series was done and when it aired and when he can watch it. I'm just like, but I want to talk to you about it now.
Yeah.
So then finally, once it all aired and he talked about it, he was like texting me as he watched like each episode, and I'm just like, I'm kind of jealous that of him like just being able to watch each one like right after another, and experiencing them like for the first time again, because that's always something like. That's always a fun question is like if you could go back and rewatch a movie for the first time, like what would it be, kind of thing. But like living through him, like he's texting me like, oh my gosh, this just happened. I'm like, yeah, just keep watching. He's like, wait, what does this mean? I'm like, just keep watching. So.
Yeah, I've got a coworker who they like Marvel stuff. It's like, well, you should watch this, and it's like, well. We're waiting for all the shows to come out. So I told her when the last episode dropped. And so I waited a week and I was like, so did you watch it yet? She's like, we watched an episode. I said, see, you could have just watched it week by week like we did.
If you're only going to watch one, why'd you wait for it all to drop? Yeah.
She waits for it all to drop and she watches the one episode that made people question their judgment the most. It's if you got that, okay, I mean, that's her decision. I was telling somebody today, I said, everybody does what they want to do. They have their own opinions. It's not my place to judge their opinions because it's all right to have different opinions. But that's still a questionable one. It's like, all the episodes are out.
Yep.
I refuse to say if somebody's opinion is wrong, but I have unfollowed people because of their reviews because I was like, your opinion is yours, but it's still pretty garbage.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I've been watching the new Rockstars along with yours, Cameron, just because Eric Boss is pretty funny. And, and Jessica, she's pretty good too. I think that's her name.
Yeah.
I think that's her name.
Wanda
Yeah, I like their I've been following them for a long time. I think I found them back when like Game of Thrones was still having like new episodes coming out, and they used to do breakdowns of that. And then I was like, oh, these guys do Marvel too. Oh, these guys do this too. They do a lot of stuff that I like. It's like, I should follow these guys.
All right, so we got through episode 2, and then 3 was the first time it got in color.
Yep.
Was fully in color.
Episode 3 was also like the start of like the kids, right? When she got pregnant.
That's when she got pregnant.
She got pregnant at the end of episode 2.
Episode 2.
That's when they met the mystery beekeeper.
Yeah, what happened to the beekeeper too?
Okay, so
Like, I'm not that it obviously wasn't a very important storyline, but still, like, what happened to him?
I think the end of every episode, they had to throw something like completely insane out there just so that we'd all be asking the question, what the heck was that for a whole week? And so like episode 2, there was the beekeeper because they played episodes 1 and 2 at the same time. The beekeeper, who was that? And so everybody's like, maybe that's, the Grim Reaper, maybe that's Swarm, oh my gosh, maybe that's whoever.
Yeah.
And it was
That was one of the things I think that Jessica Clemens, I think that's her name. That's what,
Jessica Clemens.
That was one of her theories. I think that she mentioned that it could have been Hive. I was like, I don't know about that.
like I'm like, Swarm is a D-list character. Yeah, he's seriously got creepy vibes. He's a bee Nazi, but I just don't see how that fits into a Wanda Maximoff and Vision storyline. But let's see what happens. And of course, it's a red herring, and this show has a lot of them. Like Kevin knew what he was doing.
Yeah,
like you don't like, to kind of jump the gun a little bit, and we'll come back to it. You don't just cast Evan Peters as a Pietro and not know what you're doing.
He said
he knew what he was doing.
Oh yeah.
He said it was a joke, and it was meant to be poke fun. And I think that's his way of, like, I think, toying with people. Like, we know you want this.
Basically, it was basically just to be like, it would convince the audience that, maybe this is real. There's something multiverse going on here, and it was enough that it would also convince Wanda inside the show herself to be like questioning and being like, wait, is this what is going? Just to make her go even more crazy, kind of thing. It worked. I mean, theories were flying with that reveal. Like,
oh my god,
for good reason. I mean, how could we not? Like, that's when it all started. We're like, okay. And then it was, I think, that same week when it came out that there was going to be some big cameo reveal, and later on in the season. And so then we get that, and now we're just like, now there's another cameo. Okay, they're introducing the X-Men. It's got to be Professor X or Wolverine or Magneto or someone. But no,
would Paul double down on the? I'm excited to work with this person. I've never worked with
someone I've always wanted to work with.
Someone I've always wanted to work with. Oh, you talk about getting the heart ripped out of many people. So speaking of that, I believe that's where a lot of the people, and I know we're kind of hopping around, but at the end of the season, they were madly disappointed because all the hype for what your theory was and what it should have been and who should have been introduced and this should have happened and that should have happened didn't happen. And so I think that's where people said, oh, this show sucked. The finale sucked. Like, no, you just were mad because what you wanted to happen didn't happen.
Yeah. I think another thing, too, that kind of played into that is, we're so used to, as Marvel fans of the MCU and Kevin Feige and all of them, and just absolutely blowing our minds with every movie, every Avengers movie, all of that. Like, we're coming right off the tail end of Avengers Endgame. And obviously we had Spider-Man Far From Home since then as well. But outside of that Endgame was pretty much like the last major thing to happen in the MCU. So we're waiting for like, okay, what's the next big thing to happen? Right. And we heard WandaVision is going to be, we thought we're leading into Multiverse of Madness. So we were expecting, this big crazy something like universe breaking to happen or something. But it's just like, no, this was just a TV show to introduce like a different side of Wanda and Vision. It was like her like dealing with her depression and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's just a TV show. And like you mentioned earlier, that this wasn't even supposed to be the first show to air. So it's like, who knows, that there could be stuff that happens in those other shows that might have led into some more explanation for this. We were expecting like to get like answers for what's going to come next. Like, no, they're not going to drop the next big bad in WandaVision, because that's basically what Mephisto would be. Like, he's not quite like a Thanos level, I don't think, but could be.
No. I don't think I think he's, most dimensional wise, I think he might be.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's as bad as Thanos.
I think that we've been spoiled as MCU hardcore fans. We've been spoiled, and it all started, in my opinion, with 2015's Avengers: Age of Ultron. Because if you notice, Avengers: Age of Ultron definitely put in as many references to things that were coming up as possible. Whenever you had the Avengers going to go find Ultron in Africa, and they were talking about vibranium, and they mentioned Wakanda. we all got shocks and chills. They mentioned Wakanda.
They're doing it. They're doing the thing.
They're doing it. Exactly. And then Thor had his visions of the Infinity Stones. Oh my gosh, they're doing that. And everybody kind of had their visions, and we were all trying to figure out what's going on. Thor had his vision, and he's talking about, how Thor brings upon the end of Asgard, which actually happened in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so with Avengers: Age of Ultron having its fingers in so many things, even so much so to have a mid-credit scene having Thanos say, "Fine, I'll do it myself."
Right.
Then why are we not to think that every single time that something MCU comes along, that they don't, feed along the line so that we see what happens after the fact at the end of Civil War, that, Steve and Bucky end up on Wakanda. At the end of Doctor Strange, Thor is visiting the Sanctum Sanctorum. Like, they all feed into each other. And so with WandaVision, we're automatically got our tuning forks on, waiting for it to feed into the next big thing. And so maybe since we didn't focus on what story they were trying to tell us right then, we got disappointed because we were looking for that next big thing.
Exactly.
And that's kind of why I had the idea for the video that I put out with yesterday. I was like, you know what? This is a good message for me too.
Yeah. Yeah, and another thing that I watched someone else that kind of explained similar to what you were just saying, how we're wanting what that next big thing is going to be, and since we just Thanos, all that just ended, we're like, what's going to come next? This is the first thing that's going to allude into this. So, well, what is it? What's going to be? It's like, well, if you even think back, it's not like they announced Thanos in the first movie. Like Iron Man, there was no reference to Thanos. They slow played Thanos for years before we actually got Thanos and what it became, and Infinity Saga and all that. So it's like, once you think about it like that, you're like, yeah, of course they're not gonna just go boom, here's everything in WandaVision. Like they gave us tiniest little Easter eggs here and there, and then the end credit teaser of basically leading into Multiverse of Madness, which is what they said it was gonna do. They said it was gonna lead into that. We just took that and it's going to lead into Multiverse of Madness. That means Doctor Strange is going to show up on the show.
Gonna show up,
everything's going to happen. But no.
Speaking of which, so Agnes said that the energy or the magic that was cast drew her there. So if that drew her there, why didn't it draw Doctor Strange?
Yeah, I don't know. The only theory I have
will tell you exactly why.
Okay.
I know exactly why. Doctor Strange had been blipped out of existence for 5 years. That man was catching up on Grey's Anatomy. Bet. That's the only explanation.
Yeah.
He had 5 years to catch up on. He had more important things to do than to see what was going on in New Jersey. And had some ABC to catch up on.
He's also from New York. He can't be bothered with New Jersey's problems. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. New Yorker. New Jersey's
nobody from New York cares about Jersey.
Exactly. They barely acknowledge its existence. So.
But so
why am I
one
doing
of the theories I heard was that he may be busy taking care of something else, which we may get introduced to in the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, I would assume that he was doing something, and
because these timelines are probably going to run relatively close together for all the things coming up here soon. So I think with Falcon and Winter Soldier, we're going to see what they were doing during this time frame. Loki, what's been going on with him during this time frame.
That's the thing too with this. It was kind of cool to get the reveal of that this took place. What was it? Only 2 weeks max, after the events of Endgame, something like that.
Yep.
And so I don't know how long from beginning of the show to the end of the show, how long did that take place? as a whole, like, was that just like over a week, or was it like 2 or 3 days, or what? We don't really know, but it's kind of cool that like we actually found out like, oh, this actually takes place way before the events of Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah.
And that movie, that was a movie. um,
Or an episode.
Yeah, one of the
basically for MCU, everything's an episode.
True,
now, right?
That's true. In that one of the teachers talks about like witches a lot, which was kind of
JB Smooth.
Kind of cool.
Yeah, JB Smooth. Yeah.
It's like, I wonder if that's because maybe the events of WandaVision ended up getting like more people found out about it or something,
or maybe it was just part of it in there.
I don't know,
because it was supposed to be, it is 8 months after.
Yeah.
It's a good question. I think that we don't know the extent of which word got out about the witches of Westview. We don't know if it was something that was covered up by Sword and the FBI. We don't know if it was a whole story because, whenever the hex went down, those citizens still had Facebook. They're posting, it's like, do not come here ever,
Yo, we had people flying in the sky. Like, they were throwing stuff at each other.
It's like, you never lived unless you lived in between some runes. No, yeah. I don't know if all that came out. If it did come out, then JB Smooth's lines, which were some of my, even though I love JB Smooth, they don't really hold up well within the MCU and the Spider-Man universe, but they make much more sense in this context. So were they planning it before? Quite possibly. Kevin is always at least 4 or 5 steps ahead of what we're watching at the time. So he could have just said, you don't like the witches joke? You just wait. Give me 1 year, because he didn't know COVID was coming up. He may have had 5 steps ahead, but he didn't know about COVID.
Yeah.
But he's like, just wait. and so that's that makes a lot of sense. So what episode are we on now? Are we we're in the middle of 3.
Around. Yeah, we were talking about 3, going into 4.
Yeah.
Where we started talking a little bit about Monica Rambeau, and
I really liked her introduction. Seeing her blip back that whole scene, that was so cool. I had that episode 4. I had as my 4th favorite episode actually of the entire series. I just thought it was like really well placed. Like the fact that, because honestly, like I didn't know how long are they going to go with these episodes of just like showing us a different like generation for like a sitcom or whatever, and then like when are we gonna actually get a reveal? I thought it was gonna be a little bit later, but putting it episode 4, I felt like that was like perfect, and it explained everything that happened pretty much from episodes 1 through 3 without minus a few things here or there that they didn't explain completely, but enough to where like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here now, like it's all making sense, and then still let us with more questions like, okay, well, this Hayward guy, how do I feel about this guy? Like what's going to happen? And the other thing, one of the biggest cliffhanger, I don't know if it's a cliffhanger, but things that they didn't answer was the whole reason that they were brought to Westview in the first place was the missing person. Who is the missing person?
Talked about that.
It's never mentioned again. Like, who is Jimmy Woo's missing person that brought him to Westview?
They never spoke about that missing person ever again. Yeah. And some people were thinking that it might have been Ralph, but he would have recognized Ralph.
Yeah, that's the thing too. You have to think anyone that was shown on the TV, they probably would have been like, "Oh, that's my guy," but it wasn't. It never was mentioned. It's like, who was it?
I got nothing.
Yeah.
I almost want to say it felt like it could have been the delivery person, the guy who was always making deliveries.
But they see him. They seen him on the TV
see
show.
Him.
Yeah,
that's true.
So he never said, "Oh yeah, there's my guy."
That's my guy.
I mean,
oh no,
that's true. They never mention it again. Yeah, and that was one of the. I kind of want to say mini cliffhangers, but I haven't watched I've watched each show. I've watched each episode at least twice. Most of them 3 or 4 times. But yeah, that's kind of a loose thread. Are we sure we want to pull at that thread, gentlemen? Or do we want to go there?
I just want to know. I want to know.
Who is it though?
I want to know who made the.
And usually, someone in a witness
Monica
protection
Rambeau's
program is somebody who knows a lot of bad things about a lot of bad people.
Yeah. That was.
I wish. Yeah, that's. Oh, and then somebody just who just brought up Monica Rambeau's contact, the Arrow.
Yeah.
The Arrow.
Aerospace engineer.
Hey, look, that was the biggest letdown of the whole series to me.
That was too.
I just knew we were gonna get at least the name drop of Reed Richards, right? I just knew we were gonna get the name drop. I just knew we were gonna get at least the name drop.
We were.
Question is if that ends up being what happened, whenever Fantastic Four does come, will we get like a reference? Like if Monica happens to be in the Fantastic Four, like, oh, by the way, thanks for making that rover that didn't work, or something like that.
I would have been fine if they had made that a Reed Richards cameo, but I was actually hoping for one of 2 other characters. So, one of the characters that I was hoping that it could be, besides Reed Richards, was Amadeus Cho. Amadeus Cho is a character who turns out to be the totally awesome Hulk. But he's also one of the smartest people in the entirety of the MCU. And having that young kid genius being your auto space engineer would have been interesting and introducing a character that most people don't know in such a way that people who are in the comics would be like, "Oh my gosh,
I think I know who your other person is." I think I know.
You know exactly who my other person is.
Blue Marvel.
My other one, because no, not Blue Marvel. My other person, because as you know, I went mutant crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Was Forge. Because Forge is a mutant who can build anything. As long as he has an idea of what he wants it to do, he can make it a reality. And so if you're asking somebody to build you a piece of machinery that has never even been thought of before, that can shield through all types of radiation, why not go to the person who has the actual ability to build anything he puts his mind on? And I said, this is going to be me. I was blinders on mutants, and so I thought that it was going to be Forge. Okay. I was wrong on all accounts, but at least I wasn't alone.
No one guessed it was going to be some random no-name sword agent.
Right. Assassin, what's going on, man? This is interesting. Yeah, it is, especially if you've watched WandaVision.
Yeah. I heard some people theorizing that they thought it could have been like Beast as well, staying on the mutant.
Yeah, I was thinking. I heard Beast.
Could have been Beast. I think Reed Richards was the one that a lot of people were like, it could be Reed Richards. That makes a lot of sense. I've also heard the theory that it could be that. So was that lady that she met? Was that the same one that showed up in the finale end credit that ended up being the scroll?
No,
I don't think so. I thought they were
two different people.
Okay, so another theory that I heard was that like group of people that they're like an offshoot that's kind of branched away from S.H.I.E.L.D. that they're like, okay, they're not with Hayward, and there's like these Hayward's doing some shady stuff, and this is like a separate branch that might even be like a scroll branch. They're all scrolls, and that contact is actually the scroll little girl from Captain Marvel, and that's why it was her friend. But they didn't. That would have been like a cool reveal if they'd done it that way. But then it obviously would have taken away from the scroll reveal post-credit scene of the finale.
Yep.
But that could still happen, because I mean, she's a scroll, like space engineer. It's possible that she knows a thing or two about that kind of stuff, and maybe that's who it was. But yeah,
we're saying. I heard another theory similar to that one, that a whole division is just a bunch of scrolls that work for Sword, but in a separate division, kind of off the books type thing.
Yeah.
Cameron, you're awfully quiet about this.
I'm listening.
He's absorbing all the information.
He's absorbing all the information. Come back and say, "No, you guys were wrong."
You're wrong. You're all wrong.
Look, I don't have all the answers. They didn't consult me when they were coming up with this stuff.
I agree.
Yeah.
They came to me actually, and I said, "No, you don't want my information."
If they came to you, the fact that there was no Magneto is all your fault.
Yeah, they definitely didn't come to me. Yeah, you're right.
It's interesting because within the last two Marvel projects, we have had either glimpses or we have had what's the word? We've had why is my brain
teasers?
Yeah, we'll just say teasers to Sword, to the outer space version of Sword. In the second post-credit scene of Spider-Man: Far From Home, we see Nick Fury apparently getting done with his vacation on a space station, which they don't say what the space station is, but he is surrounded by Skrulls. It is implied by people who are in the know that it is Sword, which, trust me, I'm all into it. Sword was actually introduced in an X-Men comic, Astonishing X-Men #6. So I'm just like, yes, we're getting there. But and then of course, whenever the Skrull comes to Monica in the mid-credit scene of WandaVision, and she's like, I've got a friend, they want you. And she's like, where's that friend? And she just points up. And we're assuming that's Nick Fury because Nick Fury was a friend of her mom's. Nick Fury and her mom actually founded Sword.
Yeah.
So that's something that I am looking forward to. But if it's like a secret offshoot, I don't know. I think we are going to see a secret cabal of Skrulls that want to do more than just secretly inhabit the earth, and they want more power, even though they can infiltrate anywhere they want, which is why they announced the Secret Invasion Disney Plus show, which is going to be either coming out later on this year or early next year.
And I wonder if this means that Monica is going to be showing up on that show as well, or if this was just teasing that she's going to be involved in Captain Marvel 2, which I feel like we already kind of expect her to be in that one, though. So that's why I feel like this also is saying that, okay, Nick Fury wants to see you. Oh, we just announced the Nick Fury and Skrull show. Like, Monica's going to be on that, I feel like. That'd be my guess.
I want to see more Monica. I'm glad we got what we got. I'm glad that we got the introduction of her powers. And I want her to be a Captain Marvel level character, which she is in the comics.
Right.
I almost said something I wasn't supposed to say. So I want her to be the official Kool-Aid version of Captain Marvel. I do not want her to be Crystal Light. You get what I'm saying?
Got you.
I want her to have full powers.
You want the real deal.
I
want the real deal.
I want the real deal. I want the red Kool-Aid.
He's drinking the Kool-Aid, guys.
Yep.
I'm drinking Mountain Dew on the other hand.
Councilman, hey, how's it going? Assassin says we got a bunch of nerds on call. We do. We do. That's what we're doing. We're nerding out at the moment. If you like the nerd talk and you like the reviews and stuff, in the description link below, check out Cameron, Comic Book Movie Reviews, or CBM Reviews. That's his channel. It's in the link below. Also, if you don't know who Captain Bay is, his channel link is also in the description below because, I mean, he only has, 13,000 subs. But, it is what it is. It is what it is. You may not know him. So we were talking about Monica Rambeau's introduction. We want more Monica, and we want Kool-Aid Monica, not Crystal Light Monica. So Hayward tried to persuade Monica that Wanda was the villain in all this. And in the way, she was, but not in the way he was trying to portray it. I think Wanda's real villain was grief more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Would you guys agree with that? Was it more about her grief that enslaved people? Because I remember some of the people saying at the end of the episode, when you would let us sleep, we would have your nightmares.
We'd have your nightmares. We felt your pain, or whatever they said.
And I think that really dealt a lot with the grief that she was feeling more than anything else.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and jump in. I agree with that 100%. Grief was the real villain of this show, and one of the things that caused Wanda to become a villain to the citizens of Westview is the fact that she let that grief dictate her actions instead of her actually getting therapy. Or dealing. She was causing these things to happen based on her previous interactions. Her family gets killed in Sokovia, so she makes a new family. Her brother gets killed in Sokovia, so even though it really wasn't her doing, that's in tandem family. She loses vision in Wakanda. And so she literally creates a new vision based on the piece of the Mind Stone that was in her from the Hydra trials. And because of all of these things, like in together, as we've seen in episode 8, it all came to a head. Like it literally bubbled up inside when all she wanted to do was have a little bit of closure with Vision and his death. She couldn't get that closure. That is what caused not only for her to continue to suffer because there were things going on that weren't quite right, but for the citizens of Westview to suffer. She had unintentionally linked mentally with all of those citizens. And so all of the pain that she went through, all of the citizens of Westview also got tuned in on. It's quite interesting that they go through this, because as much as we wanted, the real villain to be either Hayward or Agatha Harkness, Mephisto. I mean, in a way, or Mephisto, in a way, it really was fun.
I was convinced until the finale, I think, that he was going to show up. I was like, he got to show up, right?
The only difference between Hayward, Agatha, and Wanda is Hayward and Agatha knew exactly what they were doing the entire time. And Wanda, the hurt that she was causing was unintentional. Now, that doesn't mean that she's any less guilty. A person can be under the influence of alcohol and run over a mailbox. We're going to keep this not too morbid. They're going to run over a mailbox. That does, just because it was unintentional doesn't mean that they're not wrong. And so Wanda was wrong for enslaving all the people of Westview. But that doesn't mean that she was malicious about it. She just needed to, make better choices. That person who's drinking should have called an Uber. Wanda should have called a therapist. That would have saved a whole lot of hurt and trauma for a lot of people. But yeah.
It would have been way less episodes, though, and Disney wouldn't have made much money. So I understand why they went with this plot than the therapist.
Yeah, I agree. You gotta go where the money is.
Look, if Bruce Wayne would have had a therapist, we would have no Batman.
Right?
So I don't understand. It's like, so your parents were killed.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel? It makes me feel like vengeance. No, Bruce, no.
I'm gonna go make a costume. What?
Put the cape down, Bruce. Alfred, what are you doing? The young master wanted me to sew him a suit.
I'm sewing him a suit. Wow. All right, so we move on from episode 4 to episode, was it 5, where we got back into the actual show.
That's where the
boys
70,
found the dog.
Oh, no, the
right?
80s. It was the 80s.
Is that the Halloween? That's the Halloween one, right?
No. The Halloween was episode 6.
It's where the boys went from being babies to being
toddler, or not toddlers, but Annoying
5-year-olds to
little kids.
10-year-olds. Yeah.
They went from 0 to 5 to 10, all in
Yeah.
the span of one
They get the
episode.
dog.
I liked it to, yeah.
It definitely wanted that
So
to slow
that
down a little
episode
bit.
was when I said, you know what, Deborah Jo Rupp ain't the one. It's probably Agnes, because I hadn't seen her in a couple episodes, and now everybody's doing whatever special abilities that they do besides Vision in front of Agnes, and Agnes is like, oh, that's normal, you know.
Yeah, and Agnes
just
has
wish
that scene. She has the scene where she's like, "Should we roll that back? Like, do you want to run that again?"
Do you want to
And that's when you're like,
again?
wait, she knows what's going on. Like, she's just like. That's when I started thinking like maybe she's helping her along somehow doing this at the time.
Yeah, that's why I thought that she might have been more mind controlling her at the time than what we were initially led to believe.
And and she sees the kids age up right in front of her. She sees them use the powers, and she's just not reacting at all. It's like, oh yeah, that's normal. Like you said, like,
you know, she's a drunk paper.
There's something off about this chick.
She's the one on the block that does meth, but nobody says anything because she hasn't, you know, driven over their mailboxes yet. Yeah, that's Agnes. What was that? I'm waiting for that Doom to come back. I see you over here using Cosmic Ghost Rider and Magneto, but where's that Doom?
Oh, Doom.
I've got my Dr. Doom shirt on. I got to represent.
You got to represent Doom.
That's right.
You got a 6-star Doom over there?
No, just a 5. Just a 5. Which is why I never understand why people say, "Oh, Ghost Dog is the Doom guy." Like, no, it's not me. I have a 5-star.
And I've gotten so much hate for all of my polls I've gotten over the last few months. Like, it's kind of insane. My Cyber Weekend one was disgusting. Pulled back-to-back Dooms, 6 stars.
Sure.
So have you ever are you having any interest in playing Marvel Contest of Champions? Have you ever heard of it before now? Or?
I have heard of it. I used to have it on my phone, but I took it off. I do play a Marvel game on my phone every day, and that's Marvel Puzzle Quest.
Yeah, I thought I saw you
got
promote that
Puzzle
in one of your
Quest.
videos.
I did. I actually got in touch with them, and they allowed me to do a promotion that nobody jumped on. So I'm just like, well, you know, at least I tried, and they did say yes for. But I play that every single day, and I've got almost every character. It's one of those where it's not. The good thing about it is that it's not pay to win, but if you do want to get good, you got to put in a lot of time on it. Which playing it every day, you can put in a lot of time. And like, there's 230 characters available, and I have 216, so I'm missing about 14 of them, 7 of which I don't care because they're 1-stars. And I'm just like, I don't want those. Give me Frog Thor. I need Frog Thor. I need Phoenix Force Cyclops. And there's like a couple other characters that I don't have. Like, I think I don't have a Mr. Sinister. And I'm like, that character's been out for a year, and I just haven't been lucky enough to pull Mr. Sinister yet. But yeah, that's the Marvel game that I play, and I've got my team that I like to use. But yeah, I'm certain it's very similar. It's just got kind of different ways of playing. Like, this looks like it's a 1v1 fighting game, whereas
it's more
Marvel
like a
Puzzle
Street
Quest is
Fighter kind of what I usually describe it as.
Yeah.
So I got a comment from Fred Bledsoe, says, I can only hope Kabam does baby Thanos Ghost Dog as a character. If you haven't had a chance to see the baby Thanos Ghost Dog, you have to follow me on Twitter, where Corey Guns weekly makes different memes of me on Twitter. That is one of the funnier ones.
Like, once you're in the community long enough, people start making memes of you, and you're just like, oh gosh.
Yeah. Yep. All right, cool. So episode 5, and I think that's also when Vision started questioning what was going on in Westview. Like, why were there no other children? Why, he unlocked Norm's mind. I want to kind of get back to the show. A little bit over an hour in, and I'm almost done with this. Actually, believe it or not, I'm gonna have enough to open up a 6.
So, yeah, Vision. I love the fact that Vision is doing exactly what his character would normally do. So, Vision is AI, and AI literally learns from its environment, and it's always questioning things as well. It's literally a child. This Vision is like 9 days old, which makes Wanda a pedophile, but that's neither here nor there.
I come back and all I hear is Wanda a pedophile. I'm like, whoa, what just happened? My cat dictates everything I do. She's scratching at the door again.
But Wanda is quite literally not Wanda. Vision is picking up things from his environment, and there's a history that is alluded to that he has no idea what it is. And so he's constantly probing. He's constantly asking questions. What do we do here? Is one of the early questions that he has. And then whenever things were going not necessarily wonky, but Wanda's using her powers in front of Agnes. Why are you doing this? I thought we talked about just hiding. When the boys are aging up, he's constantly asking questions and trying to observe and grow, just the same way that AI would do. And so when he's asking these questions at the end of episode 5, this was after he had unlocked Norm's mind. And Norm was like, she's in my head every night. I got to talk to my sister, this sort of thing. He's freaking out. And then he goes to Wanda. He's like, I talked to Norm. He's like, what are you not telling me?
Right.
And they almost get into it. And I was all for it. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, they kind of. I think Vision he lifted up in the air, and then Wanda lifted up with him, and they looked like they were going to have a superpower battle off, and it wouldn't have ended well for Mind Stone from WandaVision. I'm telling you, it would have been bad.
No,
it would have went bad.
I don't think he had access to his full potential. And that state that he was, that she created, because even because she created him, she could have just taken control of him like she did in, she had done previously. So, which he kind of does almost at times, like when in that scene there before, he's just like, "You can't control me," and then she's like, "Can't I?" And then he's like, "Oh, right, wait, no." He's like, wait a minute.
But then the
she
kickback
said, "Can't I?" And then rolled credits.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the kickback of all kickbacks happened. Fake Pietro shows up.
That was
Fake.
And the only thing I can remember was people were like, "Dog, did you see the hand that pushed him in the house?" Like, I think you guys are
some people were saying there was a
hand
thing. Mirror. I'm like, there's no hand there.
There's no hand.
Yeah,
there's no hand. There's no hand. That's where people. I think that's what really started launching the Mephisto thing.
Yeah.
Like people were like, "Oh, da 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 da." Like, yeah, no, this is not what's happening. But okay. But then fake Pietro shows up because Vision had a suspicious feeling that every time something was going on in the house, that this neighbor showed up with exactly the right time, with exactly what they needed. And it just felt off to him. And then when the knock at the door happened, he's like, "Well, there goes Agnes again. You had Agnes come over."
And he thinks that she's
I had nothing to do with this. Yeah. And come to find out that technically
at that point,
she was right. She's right. She had nothing to do with Agnes popping up when Agnes popped up. It just seemed that way. And so I know that I went crazy because I think, Cameron, I had told you on your thing, like, "Oh my God, we're getting mutants." And
that's what I thought. I was like,
yeah.
I was like, the mutants are coming. That's exactly what I thought. I'm not gonna lie. I thought they were getting here, but Shows what we know.
Yeah.
Nothing.
One thing that kind of sucked for me was when I started doing the watch parties, I was always nervous that like something might get spoiled. And that's why I always tried to start them like the second it dropped on Disney Plus. I started the episode so that that wouldn't happen. Well, that week was the first episode that I started getting an error when I went to start the episode right when it showed up. It wasn't playing. And I see people in the chat, they're like, yeah, it's working for me. And I'm just like, uh-oh. It's going to happen. And sure enough, finally, after about like 5 to 10 minutes, the episode starts playing for me. So about 5 to 10 minutes before the episode ended for me, people are popping in the chat like, oh my gosh, Pietro from the X-Men is in it. I'm like, I'm still watching the episode. I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
I was so mad. And I'm just like, what part of like joining a stream and you see someone that's sitting there being completely silent like this, what do you think he's doing? Like, why do you think it's okay to just come in there and be like, oh, this is what's about to happen? Like, I have a timer and I have an arrow pointing at it saying, don't talk about the episode until this timer stops. The timer is still going and people are still just like, oh, I'm like, guys, now it's ruined. So like, I'm a little mad that Pietro reveal, I knew it was about to happen. And so it still was cool, but it could have been so much cooler if I didn't get it spoiled. But it's my own fault for doing a watch party like that, I guess. So
Well, that messed things up. Hold on.
So then after that, we get the Halloween episode.
yeah.
And from there, we definitely get all the signs that there could possibly be Mephisto involvement. And
Unleash
all the
Hell
children
Demon
start-
Spawn. I
Unleash
mean,
Hell
can it
Demon
get
Spawn.
any more blatant than that?
Vision walks down in the OG comic Vision outfit.
Yeah,
Wanda's
Wanda
wearing
is.
her comic WandaVision or Wanda outfit. And everybody's like, oh my God, this is crazy. And the boys are dressed up as their comic book counterparts.
Yeah.
And I don't know a lot about that, so I'm going to pass the ball to you on that one, Cameron.
Yeah.
To have you talk about the comic book counterparts for the twins, that Tommy and Billy.
Okay. So I have to, full disclosure, these are not characters that I grew up with. These are not characters that I know very strongly. So these two characters, which in the comics are known as Wiccan and Speed, are members of a group called the Young Avengers. Wiccan, in particular, was introduced early in the comic book run, I believe in episode number 1, whereas Speed was introduced in the later half of the original story, which was around issue number 7 or 8. I don't exactly remember when. And these were the children of Wanda and Vision. Now, of course, in the original 1985, I believe, story, she had the kids, but they weren't real. And then when she found out they weren't real, there was kind of a psychotic break, and they had to erase Wanda's memory of the kids. I think Agatha did that. And whenever she remembered that she didn't have kids, that didn't go well, which led right into Avengers Disassembled, which in turn led into House of M. But as far as the kids go, Billy, who is Wiccan in the comics, is a next level magician in the same way that his mother is. I don't think he's quite as strong. And then, Billy.
Yeah, Billy. Yeah, you're right.
There's Billy and Tommy.
Weird
Okay.
old Tommy's the fast one, I think.
And Tommy's the fast one. So Tommy essentially got his uncle's powers, which is Quicksilver, Pietro Maximoff, and Billy got his mom's powers. And you know, they had formed the Young Avengers, which I'm trying to remember when it came out. It was before the comic book. No, it was right before Civil War came out. So their union as far as an Avengers team or a not officially not official Avengers team was kind of sketchy at best. But then whenever Civil War happened in the comics, they kind of had to disband because they're minors, and we can't justify minors going out and fighting crime, because if you even register, then you're essentially as bad as a mutant at that point, which in fact, spoiler alert, they are. But yeah, they were introduced in the Young Avengers comics, which I don't remember who it was written by, but Joseph Chung, I believe, did the artwork. He did the artwork for House of M as well, so it kind of made sense for him to do that, because that was also a Wanda-centric storyline.
Gotcha.
And I mean, the thing is, I pretty much kind of said a lot about their backstory. One of the most important parts about Billy, I'm trying to make sure that I get the names right, because Billy and Tommy are super generic.
Yeah,
about Wiccan. So one of the main things about Wiccan, and it's very important in my opinion, is that Wiccan is homosexual, and
I didn't know that.
we really haven't had that much representation. Definitely not in the MCU, but in comics in general. A lot of times, what comic book writers will do, or comic book editors, if they want more representation, they'll do one of two things. Number one, they'll take a character that has long since existed and just say, oh, they've been gay the whole time. They did that with Alan Scott, who was the original Green Lantern in DC Comics.
Switching complete genres on us, but well, not Gandalf.
The second thing,
I'm thinking Dumbledore.
I don't know who you're thinking.
Dumbledore.
Oh yeah, they did that with Dumbledore. I was like,
wrong wizard.
Gandalf is gay.
He's in real life. The character. Yeah, in real life he is.
It's funny because our game that we play, they classify Iceman as a homosexual.
Do they?
But in our game, they actually classify him as that.
How did I not know this?
And yeah, they did that. So, like I said, like with Alan Scott, they did the same thing with Iceman. They took a character that most books they weren't in, and they said, okay, they're gay now. Or the other thing that they'll do is they'll create new characters and make sure they're gay, but it's not really about representation, but it's a lot of tropes, and it's a lot of it's not meant to be mean-spirited, but it can definitely be viewed as not a good representation. And the perfect example of that are two defunct characters who thankfully were canceled before they ever made into a book, and that's Safe Space and Snowflake. I don't know if you guys remember. What? Oh, you guys don't know? So
can't imagine why these characters got canceled.
What? They got canceled?
So Safe Space
Great names
and
like
Snowflake.
that? Like, come on.
Oh gosh, it was. And I tried to share my screen earlier. I was testing something out. It didn't work.
I got Fred Bledsoe saying that they just did. They did that with a new Captain America teen as well.
Yeah, they did that, and the thing that I like about Wiccan, and this is the same thing about another character that I'll bring up and just mention, is that they said, we're going to create this character. They're going to be homosexual. That's not going to be the only character trait that they have. They're going to have other emotions. They're going to have other problems. They're going to have other things that they have to do. But they're not making it to where the homosexuality defines everything about that character. It's just a part of the character, in the same way that Peter Parker, he is heterosexual. That doesn't define who he is. It's just a part of him. And so in that way, making that character not cisgendered seems genuine. And it's the same way with North Star in the X-Men comics. The X-Men, for the longest time, has been a great representation of other. Whereas, any characters that are not mainstream can be listed as other, and the X-Men have always been viewed as other. And it's crazy because when you think about mutants, they have all these powers. Some are not very glamorous. We're looking at you, Morlocks. But for the most part, they can operate their day-to-day lives without really any kind of, pushback or backlash or anything like that. So why are mutants always looked down upon like that? And there's no reason for them to be. And it's the same story uh, in that instance. And so I like the fact that they with Wiccan, they're bringing more representation to the MCU. They're bringing more
Assuming they make his
representation.
character gay.
Assuming they do,
Yeah.
it will be a slap in the face if they don't.
Yeah.
If they don't make his character homosexual, it would be the same thing as making Black Panther white or Indian. That is not who he is. That is not the only thing that makes his character who he is, but it's an important part.
It's a well-known fact about that character that,
that's something that should not be changed. His sexuality. Now, I understand, because we live in America, that there are some people that if that happens, they're going to be up in arms and they're going to say, well, we're never supporting Marvel again. I'm like, okay, boo, you don't have to. Look, there are some people that absolutely, I don't understand how they haven't been slapped in their X amount of years on this earth. Back in my last job, I had to work for people whether I liked them or not. And there were seriously people that would say, I saw you watch Black Panther. It's like, why isn't there a White Panther? And I couldn't say what I wanted to say.
right.
But it was clear that they didn't get it. It was clear that they didn't get it. And so it would have been a waste of my breath to try to explain it to them, because they still weren't going to get it. They didn't get it because they didn't want to get it. And that's going to be the same instance if they do make Wiccan gay, which I really hope that they do. That there's going to be somebody who's going through something. There's going to be a little boy, a little girl, whomever, that is going to look at this character and they're going to say, that hero is somebody that I can relate to.
Yep.
In the same way that there are kids, when Black Panther first came out, and all these kids, they're black kids, and they're like, oh, this hero, he looks like me.
Yeah.
Somebody that they can look up to. And that can be the same thing that Wiccan can bring to the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, I'm heterosexual, and I don't have a problem with Wiccan being homosexual. It's fine. I understand that representation matters. I understand that it's very important. And then when kids see somebody who is like them, or who thinks like them, or does things that they can relate to, and they find that character and they can latch on, that's what makes these stories so important. It is fictional.
They see this person being successful at something, being like they are, and they're like, oh, well, now I can do it. That gives me hope, or stuff like that.
It's one of the reasons why Spider-Man has been such a favorite character of mine. Even though Spider-Man doesn't look anything like me, the great thing about the Spider-Man costume is that it's covered from head to toe. So in that costume, anybody can be that character. And the fact that he has all these normal everyday problems as well as his superhero problems, I love that about him. Mm-hmm. And now, as we're getting more and more into comic book lore, and more characters are being created, there are characters such as Black Panther, such as Luke Cage, such as Monica Rambeau, that my kids can look up and say, "Oh, wow, that hero looks like me."
Yeah.
And in the same vein, some kid who knows who they are, some kid who is gay or who is curious, or those sorts of things, they can look at Wiccan and say, that character is just like me. I like the fact that they are starting to introduce more diversity, and not just racial diversity, into these stories.
Yeah, just the diversity in general.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull up a picture of these characters that I brought up, Snowflake and Safe Space, just so you can see what I'm talking about. Because they were awful, and I'm so glad they got canceled. So this is what Snowflake and Safe Space look like. This is a Mm, let's see. Let's see if I can pull this up without it messing up. You see this? You see this garbage?
Yeah.
This is not what representation looks like, right?
No.
That's not what representation looks like.
It's like knockoff Powder Puff Girls or something. I don't even know.
It was bad. Like when it came out,
I don't even know
the
what to compare that
backlash was immediate and fierce. And there were other characters too. There was like a goth guy who was like Morbius's nephew or something along those lines. And then there was a Native American girl, and I don't remember her powers, but it was just an all around big mistake. It's like they took all of the stereotypes and tried to personify them instead of talking to people and saying, tell me what it's like. And then that way we can actually put something that's a little bit more authentic on the page. So, yeah. But then, we got Luke Cage saying, "Where's my money, honey?" So there's that.
Good old Luke Cage.
Sweet Christmas.
So, what's going on again off of the AK? I just finished doing some Cavalier stuff I needed to get done to grab some 6-star shards. So let me open up a 6-star crystal here shortly. But I want to move from the end of episode 6, which is the Halloween edition, where Vision tried to get out of the hex. The hex pulled him back in, and I think at that point in time we were all kind of unsure why. Now that we've seen the show, we know why.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It made sense, but up until that point, we didn't.
You're like, why can't he leave the hex?
Right? Why couldn't he leave the hex? Was it just Wanda trying to keep him there? But later on, we figured out why, and that the end of episode 6 going to episode 7, I think at that point in time we heard how Wanda's grief, moving into the 90s, the Modern Family opening and things like that, how her grief was taking a toll on her, where they were talking to the fourth wall, kind of how like they do on Modern Family and other shows like that.
The Office.
The Office, yeah.
Yeah, the whole intro was like almost the Office theme song.
Office theme song, very much so.
Yeah. I actually had that one as my favorite episode of the series. I really liked, we got Monica Rambeau's introduction to her powers. I thought that was just amazing. We get the Agatha all along reveal at the end, where it's like, okay, so she is Agatha
all along.
I mean, this song is like the catchiest thing you ever hear. What else happened in that episode? I had all my notes here. Like, just go back to episodes. How did I literally
you brought notes?
I had these notes that I wrote for every one of my live streams, and so I just had it sitting here next to me.
You're smarter than me. I was doing everything from memory. Like, okay, what did I forget?
Yeah, so when I'd watch it, fine, and then when I'd rewatch it after watching other people's breakdowns and everything too, I'd remember what like those people pointed out, and then try to watch for them in the episode, and then take notes and like write my own stuff down. It was just this episode. The Agatha reveal, it was all just like, oh wow, stuff's about to go down.
Like that's one reveal that I think nobody was surprised. We were all just waiting for like, when is it going to happen?
Yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah, and there was the whole with Darcy and Vision, like her filling him on everything, like when he wakes her up. And that was cool.
That was cool. How she turned everything when she expanded the hex. I know it's kind of going back to 6. How she expanded the hex. It turned all the sword stuff into a carnival, turned them to clowns and things like that. Like that's basically what she thought of them.
Yeah. Yeah, you're just a bunch of clowns.
Yeah.
So true.
Fred Bledsoe, I missed your comment. I want to come back to that. They should have put them in the Great Lakes Avengers. I think he's referring to Tommy and Billy. And I think we're probably going to hear more from them. We'll talk about that here real soon. We got about 20-ish minutes. So I kind of want to pick up and move along a little bit into the episodes because I want to do this crystal opening. Because for some reason at 11 o'clock, my Wi-Fi likes to just die out and come back on, which is what happened yesterday in the in the stream when I was in there and I got kicked out the game in the Among Us is because my Wi-Fi decided at that moment it was going to do its thing. I don't know what it is at 11 o'clock. Something at 11 o'clock makes it happen. It's the weirdest thing. But I did finish that. I do have one feature 6-star that we're going to open.
Make sure to buy it from the basic. Oh, you already bought
it. I did. I bought it from the Sigil. And
I almost made that mistake once.
One basic 5-star.
Nice.
So yeah, we'll save everything else for another day. I'm also saving up 5-star shards for those who are wondering why I'm not opening up more 5-stars. I'm saving up 5-star shards for another spinoff with I Like Skills. So spinoff 2021 will happen.
Sweet.
Awesome. So,
anything else about episode 7 that you guys wanted to comment on then?
Monica immediately got that superhero landing down pat.
Yeah,
she did it twice.
She got it down quick.
She did it twice in the episode. Like the first time she first got her powers, she hadn't even practiced with her powers. Boom, superhero landing. I freaking heard Deadpool clapping. He was like, "Yes,
superhero landing, superhero landing."
Yeah, she's gonna do a superhero landing.
I want them to explore her powers very much so in detail because as of right now,
I feel like she didn't have time to learn what she could do more so than that it just kind of happens and she doesn't really know how.
Like when she jumped in front of those bullets in the finale, did she know that was going to happen? No, like there's no chance she knew. She just was trying to be like a protector and like protect the kids, and turned out she's like, oh shoot, those bullets go through me? Hold up.
What's crazy is that she didn't even have to do it. Hayward was like trying to shoot in between the kids. He was like, watch how good of a shot I am, boys. She jumped in the middle. But he didn't even flinch. He was just like, black person in the middle, I'll keep shooting then. I was like, oh, you bastard.
So yeah, I definitely want to see that more from Monica. She did get the superhero landing when Scarlet Witch shot her.
Yeah.
When Wanda shot her told her to get, looked like she was going to try to throw her out again, and something kept her from throwing her out.
One thing that was kind of weird about that like initial scene when she went through the barrier was like, okay, she's in the tank, she's driving through, then she has to bail and get out of there, then she lands, and then all of a sudden she's like, I can get through. What?
Yeah, like the tank couldn't get through.
How did that?
But I think by that point,
you realize like, oh yeah, I can get through that.
One of the things we didn't discuss was Monica's cellular buildup or makeup had already been changed. So I think by that time she could absorb.
They even dropped another almost mutant reference. They said it's mutating your cells or something like that on a molecular level. I think is what the quote was. Something along those lines. Yeah,
they're changing. Her cells were changing on a molecular level, and I believe that her body at that point had already started doing its thing, and it was just adapting to the hex itself.
Mm-hmm. Mutation.
No.
To our evolution.
No. We're not using that.
It has allowed us to evolve.
Charles, is that you?
From single-celled organisms, the most dominant things on the planet.
Now I want to
Oftentimes, this process is slow. It takes millennia. But every now and then, evolution takes a leap forward.
In that movie.
Punisher 91, what's up, Ghost Dog? I'll have this playing in the background while I'm doing something else. Thank you very much, man. We appreciate that. Cheers, we're getting towards the end here, so I think 7 is pretty much a wrap. We've Agatha all along, the Monsters theme song.
And she killed Sparky too.
Yep, I killed Sparky too, and that laugh, she pulled that from the bottom of her belly to get that out. That was such a great witch laugh.
Did you guys watch the post episode that they did, the making of WandaVision one that they posted?
I missed that.
I have not watched it yet. I haven't watched it yet.
It's not spoiling anything. They do a lot. They go explain a lot of good stuff in there. But they show that scene like from a different angle. Like some of those are like recording it as it was happening. And like she goes on for so much longer doing that laugh, and everyone's just sitting there. It's like so chilling. Like that is such an evil laugh. Oh my gosh! Like the amount that we got in the episode is like half of how long she probably kept going for doing the laugh.
Wow!
I was like, oh man, it was It was a good laugh. And two, also, jumping back, also real quick, that we didn't talk about the scene where Vision was talking to her when she was at the edge of the hex, and that was like when I was like, okay, she's for sure got to be involved in this somehow, because everyone else was like frozen, and she wasn't, and she like was able to respond to him and everything like that, and it was just kind of like she's dead, and she does an evil witch laugh there too, and I'm like, okay, she's definitely got to be like Agatha. It's like if she's not, then this is the biggest tease ever.
Right, definitely. So we moved that on to episode 8, where her and Wanda talk down in her dungeon.
Backstory episode. The backstory. We'll get a backstory of Agatha and the backstory of Wanda.
I personally was probably my least favorite of all the episodes.
Really?
Yes, only because we've heard the story. If you follow Marvel Cinematic Universe, you've heard the stories already. We all knew this. The only thing that I thought they brought that was more to the story was that she was kind of a witch already.
Yeah.
And we didn't know. We kind of didn't really already know this.
Yeah, that was definitely new knowledge. We're like, oh, that's why the bomb never went off, because she used the hex probability.
She put a hex probability on it. And things like that. So I was like, I could probably have lived without that. I could have done with some more action at that point. Maybe a little small glimpse into why, who she was background wise. Kind of how they did Agatha's thing at the clip at the very beginning.
I really liked the scene though of her interacting with the Mind Stone in the scepter. That part was really cool, and seeing the future version of herself, I'm guessing, is what it was.
Did you notice that she did that blip like she did with the?
She cut it out. Yeah.
So they didn't see it.
Yeah. Thought that was really cool. And then we see how the hex actually came about. That it was actually, and it wasn't Agatha all along. It was Wanda all along.
Definitely Wanda.
And seeing her create everything and actually make Vision from her, you're like, oh, okay, so that's why. And we also get the reveal that Wanda didn't actually steal Vision. She went, saw him, and then left, and then just had the note and found out that this was actually a home that Vision was gonna. That was where they were gonna live, apparently. So I really liked that ending too. That was a cool way to see all of that, and also that heart that was on that deed ended up being that was what the heart on the calendar represented in the very first episode.
Yep.
I find it interesting that you say this was your least favorite episode, because this episode brought a lot of things to light. Even though I didn't particularly care for the Agatha backstory, and we had heard some of the backstory and seen some of the backstory for Wanda, it put so many things in perspective, because we had only heard the story about her and Pietro and the bomb. We hadn't seen anything. It was only told to Ultron early in Avengers Age of Ultron. And then, of course, we saw Pietro's death, but we never really gotten a chance to see Wanda and Vision interact. And in one of the visions, I did not mean to use that pun, that they go by, we see her asking Vision to come sit with her as she's watching Malcolm in the Middle. And that's when Vision drops that beautiful line, what is grief but love persisting? Is that how it goes?
Persevering, I think, is the one.
Persevering. Yeah. That was so good. Like, I didn't get chills because I was too busy trying to focus on everything, trying to see if I'm missing an Easter egg. But when I went back and watched it, I was like, yeah, this is really good stuff. Yeah. And then at the end of the episode, we finally get a name drop where she is, for the first time in the entirety, she is called the Scarlet Witch.
Her chaos
and so,
magic.
Yes. And so with the name drop, with a little bit more of a backstory because we hadn't really gotten a good dive before. And with the fact that we are finally introduced to the real villain, the real thing of this entire series, which is the grief, I think this episode brought everything full circle. And the only thing it didn't have, as you said, was the action, which we got that in spades in the very next episode.
Right.
But
one thing that also was cool about it too was, so in the episode prior to that, we get the Agatha all along. Like, oh, Agatha's the villain, but it's like, what's Agatha's purpose? Like, why is she doing it? Why is she doing this all to Wanda? We get the reveal of that she's not like just out to get Wanda. She's wanting to know like she was attracted to this,
to the power.
What's going on? She's just like,
she wanted it.
She
wanted that power.
Well, yeah, but I was saying like the whole reason she came to Westview in the first place was she sensed some massive magical power, something was going on, and that's what drew her to there. And then she figures out that, oh, this Wanda chick is doing all this, like, how is she doing this? And she's like, I know how to do this magic. You clearly don't know what you're doing. Like, I want this. And so that's why we go back through all of that.
Well, that's kind of like,
and she's like gradually learning, like, okay, so this happened. That's why. Okay, let's see where that goes. And then, you interacted with an Infinity Stone. That's why you're so powerful. I thought that was kind of cool that she immediately knows, like, oh, that's an Infinity Stone. Like, yeah, maybe that's public knowledge now since this is post Thanos and Infinity Gauntlet and all that kind of stuff. But it also makes sense that she's been around for so long that she would be aware. Being someone who's involved with magic for her whole entire life, she probably have a good idea about those, and plus she has the Darkhold. I'm sure there's some part in the Darkhold that may talk about the Infinity Stones. So that was kind of a fun little thing that I noticed. I was like, oh yeah, it makes sense that she would know about the Infinity Stones. And then at the end it gets to, she's like, okay, yeah, you don't know how to use these powers. You're just some crazy witch that you don't even need to use incantations or whatever. You know, I know what I'm doing. Give me your powers.
Let me have
cool that like that was her reasoning behind it, because it's always so annoying when you have a villain. It's just like, I don't like you, or the world needs to die. Why? This one actually was like, oh, it makes sense that she knows what she's doing and she wants to have all these powers. What she wanted to do with those powers, on the other hand, might not have been very good, and who knows.
Bad.
But
well, think about back when Sparky died, and the boy said, "Mom, you can bring him back," and she was kind of like, "You can do that?" She's like, she's really trying to figure out exactly what Wanda she can do.
Yeah, and if she knows, if she's aware of what she's doing. Yeah, I thought episode was really good. Episode 8 was my number 2.
And then wait, do you have anything you're adding?
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Oh no, Cap was going to add something, I think.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and then we have the finale episode. You know, there's not much
exactly
really happened. Not much really happened there. You know, it's just kind of typical finale.
It is what it is.
Vision gives head to himself. Like, think about the Theseus boat. Let's pontificate. Are you pondering what I'm pondering? I think so, but if you replace all the planks, does that mean that it's still Theseus' ship? Precisely. I am Vision. Yes, and I am Vision. Peace.
And then, but also, if you take the original pieces and restore them, is that still the real ship? No. Aha. Neither was our Vision. What do we do now? I'm gonna fly away. Okay, bye.
Yeah,
I am Vision.
Like, I have to go. My home planet needs me.
Yeah, I gotta go.
So Arrow says, "Cat, Ghost Dog Cat, what's going on? What's going on, Arrow?" Manuel's asking, "So, babe, will you stay live till the Snyder Cut releases?"
Will I stay alive?
Well, I'm assuming you will be alive, but Manuel, he's not live. Is basically
no, I'm not live right now, and I won't be. I'm not going to be streaming. I'm not doing a watch party for that at all. I thought about it, but it's supposed to be like 4 hours long or something.
It is 4 hours. It's 4 hours and 2 minutes.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, that seems like a long stream to do. Plus, I'll be doing the Falcon Winter Soldier one at midnight as well tomorrow. And plus, I told a buddy that I would watch Snyder Cut with him, so he's coming by tomorrow. We're gonna watch it. So I don't think he'd want to sit next to me and watch it on my tiny little computer monitor when I've got a 55-inch out there. So
there you go.
The Snyder Cut is actually leaked online.
oh, is it?
Yeah, it leaked online earlier today.
Wasn't it? Didn't it
Um,
leak during? It was supposed to be like Tom and Jerry or something too.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was the first leak.
Yeah.
And
I
like
remember
people
hearing
were
that.
clicking, ooh, I want to watch this Tom and Jerry
Tom and
movie.
Jerry.
And they click, and all of a sudden Zack Snyder's talking about it's like, hey, I want to thank you guys for watching this movie. It's because of you that this was happening. And all of a sudden some Justice League stuff was going on. I was like, Tom and Jerry got dark, you know. But
I don't remember Batman having a tail.
What's going on, Sil?
but then they took it down after about an hour or so. But no, this leak is because I don't know why it's leaked again, but this time it's an official, like not an official, but it's a for real leak. And some people are saying it's because it released early on the other side of the world. And if you release anything online, no matter where it is, it will eventually find its way here. But yeah, I haven't seen it. I just saw that it had leaked. So I'm just like, you people.
Yeah.
Mayo says, I must be exhausted because I thought this was Bay's channel and you was his guest. My bad. Thanks, man.
I'm the
Appreciate
guest.
that.
I'm the guest. I'll let him host.
He's the guest here. So speaking of guests, we got Cameron here from Comic Book Movie Reviews. His link is in the description below. Make sure you go down, click his link, give him a sub, click the bell for the notifications. As we finish off the Wanda Talks for today, we got Falcon and Winter Soldier dropping this weekend, as well as he might do the Snyder Cut. Maybe, I don't know.
I am going to review the Snyder Cut.
I'm personally not going to watch it. I'm not even going to lie. I'm not going to watch it.
That's fine.
I posted actually a poll.
No. I'm going to watch your stuff. I'm not going to watch Snyder Cut Justice League.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch your video, man. No. Not going to.
I don't know if I'm going to do like a spoiler-free review or if I'm just going to just say this is how it compares to the original and choose yourself if you want to spend 4 hours on that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do.
Just spoil it because I'm not going to watch it.
I actually posted a poll. It's funny you said that you're not going to watch it. I posted a poll on the 15th, which was what, 2 days ago, Monday, asking people on Twitter like, "Hey, are you either super excited, mildly excited, or no chance I'm watching it?" Those were the three options. And I said that I'm like mildly excited. Like I'm hoping that it's going to end up being better than the original, which if somehow it's not, like there's a very low bar set to not be better. So, like
Mistakes were made.
It'll at least have some kind of rewatchability to it. But yeah, I wouldn't say I'm like, I can't wait for this to come out. So, but I'm going to watch it.
I was very excited for it, to be completely honest, because I grew up on the Justice League cartoon. Okay. And I think the Justice League cartoon was one of the best comic book cartoons that has come out for any property. It's absolutely great. I won't agree with the Justice League Unlimited because I think that the episodic two-parter episodes that they had in the first and second season were just so well done. Like the stories that they told, and they focused on specific characters, and some of those were absolutely fantastic. You had the characters with Green Lantern when he was dealing with Despero, and then even before then, the Manhunters. You had, and when I'm talking about episodes that focused on them, lesser known characters, you had Wonder Woman characters, which she has never had her own standalone cartoon, but she had episodes where they went to Themyscira and had to fight Felix Faust and Hades, and then she had the episode Maid of Honor where she had to go up against Vandal Savage. And the fact that it focused on some of the lesser known characters and gave them times to shine was great. The fact that they had absolute bangers like Dwayne McDuffie write some of these episodes was fantastic. And so I wanted Justice League to be, I wanted it to be great.
If they had gone the MCU route where they introduced each character in their own movie first, I think it could have been a lot better out the gate.
Yeah, I think they were trying to rush their Avengers.
Yeah, they wanted MCU right out the gates, and they're just like, let's do Justice League. Yeah, that'll get views. That'll get fans on board. Like, nah, that totally backfired on you guys.
Cool.
It
All right,
was
got another.
You got
another raid real quick.
Oh, nice.
We got I'm a Green Mean, Red Dog, and Cataclysm for Catalysm raid. Cataclysm, thank you very much. Everybody, thank you for stopping by. Simba says, good evening, Cameron.
What's up, Sim? Oh,
Hi,
Cameron,
good
sorry.
evening.
Yeah, he wasn't talking to you, man.
I'm sorry. I just heard Sim.
He wasn't talking to you. What's going on, guys? I appreciate you guys stopping by.
I got me a little love.
Who's
I got a little love.
Who's talking? I'm not talking about Bay. Who's the other guy? I'll sub to him. I was just going to say that. That is Cameron from Comic Book Movie Reviews. If you look in my description below, I'm a Mean Green. His link is there. Click on that. Go to his channel. Give him a sub. Click the bell for notifications. He talks all things comic book movies, reviews. For the most part, I think there might be a few things he might skip, but for the most part, it's all there.
Yeah.
It's all there. I found him because I'm friends with his wife. And his wife told me about it. I didn't even know he had a channel. His wife told me about the channel. I was like, oh, what does he do? He's like, oh, he does this. It's like, cool. Send me the link. Let me check him out.
So he does things that I like to talk about. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can go with this.
Nice.
It's a funny thing. She's not nerdy at all.
Not at all.
She just not at all.
Not at all.
But
she's my online
she's like,
sister.
I looked into it.
That's her and I have been. We're in some Facebook groups together, and we just liked each other as far as like friends. We somebody that we could talk back and forth with, and that's how I met Cameron. And Cameron and I kind of clicked off. I think I joined his couple of his streams or a couple of his videos. Commented. We kind of talked back and forth. I was like, you know what? I would like to have this guy on and talk some more. So WandaVision was a perfect opportunity for me to do that. And I thought that was great. Simon says, I also think DC went way too hardcore, gritty with their movie. Having Batman straight up murder folks didn't sit well with me. I can see how that could be a problem.
That was a little random.
It wasn't just Batman, though. It was everybody. They were all, like, bloodthirsty. The only one that should have been bloodthirsty was Wonder Woman, because she was raised on an island of straight-up warriors. Like, that's what they do.
Yeah.
Batman, he's like, my parents were murdered, so I got to kill all these other guys. And Superman, even though he doesn't, like, kill everybody directly, he's like Captain Collateral Damage. Like, he destroyed an entire city.
Yeah, and that's kind
fighting
of what
his uncle.
Everything.
And so his real uncle,
Zod
right?
too, right? Doesn't he kill Zod?
Oh yeah, he totally snaps Zod's neck.
Yeah,
and it was
like,
that like
Superman thing.
I like Man of Steel.
Yeah,
I like Man of Steel. It's not my favorite.
It's
movie, but
in
I
the
like
top
it.
half.
But
of
when
the
he
better
did that,
DC
I was like, when he did that, when he snapped Zod's neck, I was like, you just literally took the one thing that Wonder Woman is amazing at and stole it, because that's what she does in the comics to Maxwell Lord.
Okay.
And then when I didn't get that in Wonder Woman 84, I was again disappointed. I was like, why can't we have nice things?
Yeah.
Because Superman snaps people's necks and gets his mustache CGI'd.
I know Ghost Talk's itching to open that 6-star.
I think
he is. He really is.
Well, no, what we're gonna do, we're gonna keep talking. We're gonna let the internet kick out, and then I'll come back, bring it back up, and we'll open it then. So I got Fred asking, do you think we will see Captain Falcon by the end of the finale of Falcon and Winter Soldier? I think so, or a hint at it. I know he'll wield the shield. How he will wield the shield I don't think it will be the way the comics have him doing it. I just think I think it will be done a different way. One thing about the MCU, they've kind of done their own spins on stuff, so it won't be the way the comic books get.
Yeah, like for example, in Captain Marvel, they made Marvel female. That was a huge change.
Yep.
Before we move on to full on Falcon Winter Soldier, a couple more things about WandaVision.
Let's wrap that up, and we'll
we kind of brushed over the finale. There was a little, like the fight. I thought it was super cool that she flipped the hex thing on her, or the runes.
Yes,
that was really well done
from her.
And
that was the one thing she learned from her that she needed.
And it was really cool. I saw someone posted a video of that scene at synced up with the scene in Endgame where Iron Man steals the stones from Thanos. and the timing of those scenes, like it matches up perfect from her like throwing all the hexes. It's like at the same time Iron Man is like stealing it, and then he goes away, and then she does her big speech or whatever, and then tries to use her powers at the same time like Thanos tries to snap.
The big villain speech that all villains give when they talk too much.
A monologue.
Almost as like the same kind of
They got caught monologuing.
where Iron Man like raises his hand and snaps it. Like she does the same thing, like getting her powers back or whatever. And it was her. It was almost just like mirroring that final scene, which I thought was pretty cool. And then the big reveal, obviously, like, oh, I'm the Scarlet Witch. Let's go. Let's do this. And so cool.
Well, if you paid attention, I kind of figured that's what she was doing something because she was throwing shots that were like way left and way right.
And even in one of those two, there's a close up of Agatha where she kind of like sees the
she sees her.
She looks back and she's like,
what are you doing? You're not even close to hitting me.
Like,
So let's see. I'm a Mean Green says, "Do you? Hey, I'm a Mean Green. Keep that question right there about Omega Red. We'll come back to that one in a minute. I'm gonna read your next one. I need to know where White Vision went.
Yeah, where did White Vision go?
So I had a theory, and it's probably 100% wrong. It's 100% wrong. I'm 100% sure it's wrong. When he came in and said, when WandaVision Vision asked him, "What are you doing? Or what's your mission?" My mission is to destroy the Vision. And then he deemed himself the Vision.
Did he go destroy himself?
Did he try to go to destroy himself? Or did he go think about things?
Well, because I feel like
when he went to Tahiti. Fred said he went to Tahiti.
He overrode his mission or whatever, but once he gave him his memories back, I feel like. So his mission probably isn't to destroy the Vision anymore. Would be
probably.
If they do show where White Vision goes, I think the first place that makes the most sense would be he would be looking for Tony Stark, which the real Vision's memories stop right at the whole Thanos ripping the stone out of his forehead. That's where his stop. Now, because of that, now I need to go back and make sure that I'm not missing some of the scenes. He wouldn't inherently know that Tony Stark is dead.
True.
So that might be an interesting revelation.
Yeah, because he won't know. He doesn't know the events of.
He doesn't know anything events of Endgame.
I didn't even think of
that. He was dead 5 years prior to that.
Yeah.
Real quick, I got
White Vision is
White Vision is what?
I said White Vision is a laptop that hadn't been powered on for 5 years.
That's true. That is true.
That laptop turns on and he's like, Donald Trump is what?
Pedro Khan says White Vision went to Wakanda. It's very possible.
Mm-hmm.
Very possible.
It's very.
I got Harvey Dunn in and said, "What up, Ghost Dog? Hashtag Scar Slayer Raid. The hostess with the mostest is here. One and only high def. What's going on, HD man? How you doing? I do know that White Vision was also a leader of the Young Avengers at one point. Or the New Avengers? Or the new one of those Avengers. He was the West Coast Avengers. That's what it was. The West Coast Avengers. Yeah. He was leader of the West Coast Avengers, or helped lead up the team for the West Coast Avengers. Yeah. So there's that.
Maybe he's flying over to the West Coast then.
You guys see? You see the Wi-Fi sign? You see it? You see the Wi-Fi sign on my game?
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let me look at it.
There's the
bottom right corner of the
bottom right
screen.
corner right there of the game. Those who play the game understand that sign. That sign is
I see it. I see it.
Problems
that
connecting
sign
to the
is
network.
good.
It used to always pop up in the middle and say problems connecting to the network. But now we just get that. Like they're trying to like hide it from us in the corner.
Yeah.
We see it.
We see it.
We see it.
Let's see. Sim 100% agreed, Cam. He agreed with what your thought was on that. Cataclysm Cameron just subbed to your channel, bud.
Thank you for the subscription. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Also, I saw you're kind of close to 1,000 subscribers, right?
Yeah, he's getting there.
Yeah.
I have been. So I've had my channel now for a little about 3.5 years, where I'm getting close to 300 videos. Like, I've been trying to get content out there. So if I can get to 1,000, oh my gosh, I'm gonna throw myself a little party. And if I'm vaccinated, I'm going to Chuck E. Cheese when I do it.
Oh man! So I'm a Mean Green says Pedro in the comics he takes over another Vision's body, which is the Vision Arcus. So my theory is leading up to Clairvoyant. Interesting. Now Pedro Khan says all I want to know is, since Wanda's hands have scars, will she now wear red gloves?
I think those all went away though.
I think they all went away.
Yes.
Yeah. Those all went
So
away.
in our game, Cameron, we actually got a glimpse of what that Wanda looked like.
Yeah.
That Scarlet Witch. But they haven't released her as a playable character yet. I think, and it is exactly that. If I'm not mistaken, Captain, that outfit's the exact same.
It's very similar. Yeah, I was looking at it. It's not like exact.
Very, very similar.
So what happens with this game is they plan out like a year in advance of they're going to release they release 2 new characters every month, and they plan that out like a year prior. So in the past they've timed stuff with releases. Like, they released a Captain America Infinity War version and an Iron Man Infinity War version the month that Infinity War dropped. So they've done stuff like that. So my guess is they had a Scarlet Witch that was supposed to sync up with the original release of the show. And it's like, well, they've had this plan for this long. And then obviously they didn't account for COVID happening. And then they kind of changed things out. So with the character still in game, we see her in like event quests and stuff. We have to face her, but she's not released as like a playable character. Yeah. So my guess is like Marvel was like, hey, I know you guys have had this plan for a while, but
she's not allowed to be.
You can't fully release that champion.
Can't fully release that championship.
That's my thing.
Yeah. Scar Slayer says, "Sorry, I'm late with the raid, but Scar of the Slayer raid. Yeah. Scar Slayer, appreciate you raiding. You're never late. You're right on time."
So what do you guys think's going to happen with Scarlet Witch moving into Doctor Strange?
I believe the end of episode 9, if you paid attention to the music that was playing, was a darker version of the Doctor Strange music.
Yeah.
It very much was.
And I believe that part
Yeah. It was totally dark strange.
Yeah. Dre Ennis comes and says, "Oh wow, 3 screens finna be cross-eyed in the morning." Well, you're already cross-eyed because there's 4 screens, so there's that. Can I ask my question now about Omega Red? Almost. I'm a mean green. We want to finish this up real quick and make sure. I have to look at it again. Didn't think her hands went back to. They did. They actually went back to normal. Try to make the last one. Okay. What was Wanda doing with the Darkhold?
Nothing good, I can tell you that.
She was learning. She was learning about herself.
That's
exactly what she was doing.
She was trying to figure out who this Scarlet Witch is and how do I control this power. She's the one supposed to bring destruction to the world.
Yeah.
So she wants to figure out how not to do this.
You would think. Or she's just trying to... We have the tease that you hear the kids yelling for her. Maybe she's just trying to find a way to bring her kids back. And
possibly she could try to find a way to bring her kids back.
She's going to be going through multiverses trying to find her kids. Which the kids have a weird line in the finale. Or she has a weird line to the kids where she says, "Thank you for choosing me."
Choosing me.
That wording to me was like... And I think a lot of people are like confused. Like, what does that even mean? Like, I'm pretty sure you gave birth to them. How did they choose you?
Well, yeah, that's true. But the one thing that I think that kind of ties back to where, yeah, we didn't get Mephisto here, but there's going to be a Mephisto tie-in because her children were partly from the souls of Mephisto.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe at some point in this multiverse of madness, her finding the kids we're probably gonna find Mephisto somewhere along the line.
Yeah, it could be. And then that's where Doctor Strange is going to come in and be like, yo, Wanda, you need to stop what you're doing. You're screwing a lot of stuff up. This is not good. And that's where it's going to lead
More
into
importantly,
Spider-Man 3 and Multiverse and all the Spider-Man. And yay, all fun. Can't wait for that.
Doctor Strange is going to get that Darkhold and say, "This has been missing from the library. You owe us some fines."
Yep. There's that one that's missing in
pay
the
us up.
library on the Ancient One's Secret.
That's right.
Collection.
Yeah. Okay.
She's going to come in with the book.
So real
Go
quick,
ahead.
where do you think Wanda's at? There's been a lot of theories.
Yeah, I have the Wandagore Mountains is a big one that people say.
Where
That's exactly
in the world is
Wandagore
Wanda
Mountain.
Maximoff?
That's my
Wanda
guess.
Maximoff.
I'll be honest, I
That's-
had no idea what that was until I've seen people do breakdowns about it, and that's where Chthon is from, or where he created the Darkhold or something like that. And he's trying to get that chaos magic and using her to gain it back or something like that.
La Turvia?
So yeah.
Someone says
Latveria?
Latveria.
Did somebody say Latveria?
Yeah, someone said Latveria.
Somebody say Latveria? Oh my gosh.
Why do I all of a sudden want to eat some Fruit Loops? Oh wait, that's every day. That's every day. I always want to eat
Every
Fruit
day?
Loops.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Actually
right.
reminds me, I meant to
So,
go to the grocery store today.
Captain Bay, real
Yo,
quick.
what's up?
Favorite part of the entire series?
Oh gosh. Dang, that's hard. The Ralph Boner joke. No, I'm just kidding.
Ralph Boner? Boner.
I have no idea. Come back to me? I wasn't prepared.
Cameron?
Cameron, do you know what yours is?
Favorite part of the
I kind
It's
of
so hard.
got blindsided by
Yeah.
this too, but I'm going to come up with so my favorite moment in the entire WandaVision series. It would have to be that moment of hope whenever Pietro knocked on the door at the end of episode 5, and I thought
Yeah.
that, and even though it didn't come to fruition, I thought that we had Fox X-Men introduced into the MCU.
Yep.
Now, it didn't happen. But I think that was the highest level of excitement that I had for the entire series after rewatching it. And seeing what the show was really about, I understand that was definitely a red herring.
Mm-hmm.
But still, that doesn't mean that at the moment when I watched it for the first time, that wasn't the highest level of excitement. So my favorite moment was the fake Pietro reveal at the end of episode 5.
Yeah, I was thinking along the same lines of like that, and just all of the Pietro scenes where we think he's like actually Fox Universe Pietro, and we're just, our minds are like going like a million miles a second, like what's gonna happen with this, and that's gonna mean we're gonna get mutants. This is multiverse, and so yeah, I agree. Like the level of excitement there was just like crazy. I also just really liked the just the Scarlet Witch name drop when she's like, "You're the Scarlet Witch." Because just like they teased it earlier, they teased it earlier.
kinda like
like
when
she
they
doesn't have
dropped,
any nickname or anything, and
When they finally let Captain America say Avengers.
Assemble. Yeah, it was a very much Avengers Assemble. That moment is that, and when he wields.
I had to change my pants.
When he wields the hammer are like top favorite moments.
The whole 45 minutes.
Yeah,
Like
I could watch that on loop,
absolutely.
like all day. But I think a part that too, like Wanda and Vision's goodbye was like
Yes.
heart wrenching, and like he has the quote where he says, "I have it written down. I'll just say it. It was, I have been a voice with no body, a body but not human, and and now a memory made real. Who knows what I may be next." And so it's just so cool. It's like, oh, yep, he's coming back. And so I thought that was like really a really cool ending to them, and that was a good moment.
Yeah.
So
A lot of great
those
moments
were my
in
highlights.
the film.
Yeah, there's so many.
Play or not to the film, to the storyline. there, and that scene that you came up with plucked at my heartstrings. I like rom-coms. My girl teases me about them all the time.
Hey man, I'm a sucker for them too. They're good.
And
The Holiday, it's a great one.
yeah, so rom-coms are my thing, and that touched me probably more than anything was when they tucked the boys in. She told the boys, "Thank you for choosing me, for being your mom."
Yeah,
and the fact that they spend those final moments, and he asked Wanda, "What am I?"
Yep.
And she tells him that she's a piece of the Mind Stone that's in her. That fact right there, that was probably the best part of the whole show for me. And it kind of goes forward from there. So yeah, I think that wrap up our conversation on WandaVision.
Well done, everybody. Yes.
Now, I guess the final question is: will there be a season 2 of WandaVision?
I doubt it. The finale was named the series finale, but that's also just like that's also kind of just like playing on the whole, TV show trope there.
Yeah, but it definitely.
They leave the window open for Agatha. Obviously, like she's not dead; she's still around. And if I ever need you, I know exactly where I'll find you. Does that mean that she's gonna see her? We're gonna see her again in Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness, or some kind of potential. If there is a second season, I don't think it'd be called like WandaVision 2.
I don't think it'd be called WandaVision.
There might be, since Agatha was such a popular character, maybe we'll get a whole Agatha series.
Yeah.
Where she breaks out of this trance that she's put her in, and maybe she's trying to get revenge or something. I don't know.
They deleted. They talked about deleted scene. Go ahead, Cameron.
I said I was going to say, if they do, even though they did call it a series finale, if they do have a follow-up season, it should be called Wanda/Vision, and it would talk about how they grow separately, how Vision is looking for Tony. He goes to Wakanda. He's trying to figure out all of these pieces that he has missed, everything that he's dropped within the 5 years that he's been disassembled, until he finally comes to become a fully whole being again. And then Wanda, she's on a mission to overcome her grief and actually learn how to wield her powers appropriately and properly and not dangerously. And she has to come to the realization that maybe I can't do this on my own. She may go back to Agatha, even though Agatha is playing the nosy neighbor Agnes. That doesn't necessarily mean that she has completely lost all of her abilities, and she may try to have her be because Agatha in the comics was a babysitter. Yeah, she was a teacher, so she could actually do that. And so maybe it won't be the two of them together, but them growing separately and then coming back together towards the end of the season. So that's a possibility, but that's stretching.
Fair. All right, cool. So let's I'm going to read a couple comments real quick, then we're going to move on to just talk quickly about Falcon and Winter Soldier. I know just what I've seen in clippings of trailers.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's got any more than that. Let's see. But it says here, is Wanda powerful enough to create a new Mind Stone for Vision? Technically, she kind of already did. She created a whole vision out of the Mind Stone.
And he clearly had his powers.
Yeah, he had everything. Agatha did warn Wanda about saying something is coming and you'll need my help. She did. And I believe that's why she said she'll know exactly where to find her.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then Agatha, I think Agatha was warning her about Chthon?
Chthon,
yeah.
Yeah. How you say that?
I think that's how you say it.
Yeah. Cool. Well, great. Let's move on to Falcon and Winter Soldier. I'm a Mean Green asked a question early on that I wanted to come back to because it was about Falcon and Winter Soldier. And he asked about Omega Red. Do we think we'll see the character Omega Red in the Falcon and Winter Soldier? I don't think so. I think they already have a set villain. It was the guy who played in
Zemo.
Yeah.
And Civil War. Good lord.
Yeah, I feel like too, like that'd be like they've already technically introduced mutants by adding Wicked and Speed, but if they have another mutant kind of reference, it'll be just that. It'll just be a reference. It wouldn't be like Omega Red being the villain or something like that. It'd be like, I think if people have talked about saying similar for like Black Widow, that maybe he'll show up in that prison that we see in the previews. There'll be a character that was Omega Red. Technically, there was an Omega Red in Deadpool 2 in the prison with them, but I think that got cut. I think that was a deleted scene that maybe didn't actually make it to the movie.
Okay.
But I know
You had
like
me going, did I miss that?
It might have been deleted now that I think about it. Because I know there was a scene of a guy talking to him. He's like, "Yeah, I'm supposed to be Omega Red," but yeah.
I need to go back and watch that again.
Yeah, it's in the special features, all that kind of stuff.
So the only thing I've really heard about
Falcon
Winter Soldier,
I'm not sure,
is that it comes out pretty much. The first episode is pretty much what you think. Since it's only 6 episodes, I'm expecting a lot of action very quickly.
And do we know? We don't have a time frame for like how long after Endgame it is. Do we?
No, not yet.
Yeah, so I assume hopefully they'll do something similar like they did with. Hopefully it's not 3 episodes or 4 episodes in like they did with WandaVision.
Well, they only got 6, so
yeah. So there's only 6 episodes. So I would hope that that's something they at least address.
And I'm hoping these episodes
so
are slightly longer.
Yeah,
hopefully they're slightly longer.
Hopefully,
like give us the hour. Don't cheat us. Don't cheat us. Yeah, Pedro Khan, only 6 episodes. I think COVID had something to do with that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see like what Zemo's plan is, like, and how he's back. Because what happened? Where was Zemo at the end of Civil War? Like where
he locked up.
They
locked him up. Black Panther stopped him from killing himself.
Okay.
Yeah, locked up.
And so I'm guessing he was probably locked up at that same like prison out in the ocean, maybe.
Either there or wherever they took the Winter Soldier when they were initially going to lock him up.
Yeah,
it looked like the same type.
It was in Berlin.
Yeah.
They took him to Berlin. Everett Ross was over the facility there because he said, "Step out of line, please." And that's where we are introduced to Everett Ross. So I'm pretty sure he's in Berlin.
So we'll see. It'll be interesting if we see how he either escaped or was released somehow from that, because obviously he's not locked up anymore. And what his plan is. Are we going to get a Thunderbolts reference? Because isn't he associated with the Thunderbolts?
He is associated with the Thunderbolts. He is the leader of the Thunderbolts under a different name.
Yeah.
Under a different name. I believe it's Captain V.
Okay.
I believe. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, put it in the comments because I have been known to be wrong a lot.
No, never. I've never been wrong about anything.
Let's see, Army Green says, now to be honest, I definitely think that the movie Black Widow will introduce a mutant because it's in Russia. I don't think so because
I don't think they're going to introduce a mutant
during the initial filming of Black Widow, they had not acquired Fox yet. So I don't think if it's a mention, it won't even be the word mutant.
The only way
it'll be enhanced.
Yeah.
Like they did when they talked about Quicksilver and Wanda.
We'll get mutants introduced officially in like an official mutant movie, either whether it's X-Men.
Someone was saying they were thinking maybe the Eternals.
Yeah, someone was saying Eternals could potentially
talk about them.
Talk about the existence of mutants or something.
Yeah.
But I feel like if something were to happen prior to an actual X-Men mutant-based movie, it'd be like Deadpool randomly showing up like, "Hey, I'm here," kind of thing. Like, which I want. I just want him to be the new Stan Lee cameo in every film. Like, that needs to happen.
Close Citizen V.
Yeah, that was towards me. I was like, is it Captain V? It was Citizen V. Thank you very much. Thunderbolts was a comic that I didn't collect when it came out, but it was like 1998 or 1999, and it was an interesting story. But yeah, Zemo was the leader of that, and it was a very good premise. Very Suicide Squad-y without all the bombs and necks.
Yeah, I'm agreeing. Yeah, Zemo should. I think we're thinking he's going to be the villain for this upcoming Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like he'll be the big bad villain for this one. Somehow he'll escape and be a part of it. So Cameron, we know that several people outside of Captain America wielded the shield. We know that one of them now, according to the MCU, or the next one in line will be Falcon. And we're unsure if this show is going to introduce him as Captain Falcon or not. I think it will. The question is how. Because I think technically right now, are they still on the run?
As of right now, I don't know. So at the end of Endgame, for the three of you who didn't watch Avengers Endgame, at the very end, Steve Rogers. Apparently not, because
I don't
Avatar
associate
is now
myself with people that are crazy.
Avatar is now the highest grossing movie of all time again. So there's somebody who hasn't
Until
done
they
their
re-release Endgame.
China. It was China that did it, and I'm not making a joke. It literally
No, I
China
saw that,
re-released
yeah.
Avatar, and anyway, Steve Rogers went back in time, decided to stay there, live his life, and then came back to this moment and gave the shield to Sam Wilson, who is the Falcon. Now, are we going to see Sam Wilson become the new Captain America? I'm going to say yes, and then immediately followed by no. I think that he will wield the shield, because we have seen in a couple of promotional pieces where he is practicing his shield throwing. He throws it at a tree and it gets stuck in the tree, and then you see him start patting the tree so that it'll actually reflect off of the trees. So he's practicing to try to
Get it to do how
keep that. Exactly. I think he's going to step into that role, and then I think he's going to see that the role of Captain America is bigger than one man. It is a title, and I'm not ready to hold that title yet. I'm honored that he chose me, but I feel like maybe if it is me, not right now. And I think that we'll actually see a second Captain America in this with Bucky, both of whom have been who have had the role of Captain America in the comics. So I think that after Falcon does it, I think Bucky will wield the shield. And I think that he will go to some extremes that we don't normally see Captain America do, in the same way that in the comics, Bucky had a shield in one hand and a Glock in the other. Like, he's like, I'm not playing. I'm the real Captain America.
America.
Yeah, Captain America. That's going to be Bucky. But I think that they both see something in the other that they don't see in themselves. Right. And I think that Falcon doesn't see that history. Like, he's got history with Steve, but nowhere near the same history that Steve has with Bucky. And I think that Bucky sees in Sam something that is genuine and pure, something that he can't wield because of all of the years that he did dirty work with Hydra. So they both have pieces that are integral to Captain America, the icon, but they don't have all the pieces. And I think that the both of them together can make that full piece, even if they're not doing it at the same time. So I think that's why the show features the both of them and not just Sam Wilson or not just Bucky Barnes.
Great. Green also agrees with you. He thinks that Bucky will get the shield at some point through the episode.
Just wanted to show. I wasn't shaking my head at what you were saying. I was mad at my Marvel game at MCOC because I realized you were in the middle of saying it. And I just started going like this. I'm like, oh wait, that might look bad. Just so you know, Ghost Dog, I was facing Sim Supreme in Alliance Quest, and he didn't throw a special attack. He went straight to a special 3.
Yeah.
On map 7, not ideal. Anyways,
not ideal at all. Yeah. Not ideal at all. Well, great.
Look like a jerk.
Kat, do you have anything you want to add for what your thoughts will be around Falcon and Winter Soldier?
I just am interested to see the dynamic. I think I like the teaser that we saw. It looks like, I think it'll be a little like those two characters have always had good comedic relief, I feel like. So I think that'll be a fun thing to watch throughout. And that was one they did tease like a 2-minute teaser, I think, from the first episode, and that
So
was
we're
a
not
very
friends.
funny.
No.
What
We're
was
not
that?
partners. No.
Yeah.
Call us co-workers.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see all those funny one-liners and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure it'll be good, and just see what Zemo's up to, and if we get any other side villains that pop up or whatnot, and what's gonna happen.
I do think we're going to get a side character with Echo, but that is kind of a reach, but I'm hoping. Echo's a character that was introduced in Daredevil issue 8 or 9, I believe, and she's deaf.
Oh.
She can't hear anything, but she has the same power as Taskmaster, as if she sees somebody do something, she can replicate it. And she's a very interesting character who has been manipulated by certain not so awesome people in the comics. But her iconography is usually a red painted hand over her face. And in the trailers, we see characters wearing a mask with the red handprint. So I'm hoping that maybe I've caught onto a little something, but
Maybe.
if I didn't, it's Magneto all over again. God bless.
He's wrong. I almost said a really stupid comment when you said she's deaf, but when she sees people do things, she can do them. I was like, if she's deaf, how can she see people?
Oh, Captain.
That's blind. When you're blind, you can't see. That thought went through my mind when you said it. I was like, oh no, nope. But I'm like, yeah, I'll tell myself out and say where my mind was going with that, anyways.
Well, cool. We are 2.5 hours in.
Yeah, that's what my brain
does. We'll cut
this
this
point,
here. And we'll cut this here.
All right.
But
I lost all credibility now.
7 weeks, 7 weeks, roughly. Let's come back and do this again for Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Love to.
I definitely would like to get back to do this together again. Yeah. But if you guys want to stick around, everybody stick around. I'm going to do a crystal opening. I'm going to do my intro. I'm going to record this.
Do it.
So here we go. I'm getting ready to record it now. All right, here we go. Yo, guys, what is up? It's your boy Ghost Dog back in the house for another crystal opening. Got my man Captain Bay here with me today, as well as my boy Cameron over there. Yeah, over there. That's how it goes. Here with me from Comic Book Movie Reviews. For those who are here live with me, if you have not had the opportunity to sub to either one of those, the descriptions are in the link below. I'll also try to add that to the crystal opening video if I remember correctly. I will be adding it there. I just got 2 crystals to open up today. We did some great talks about WandaVision, talking about all 9 episodes, as well as we kind of dove a little bit into a few other things. So we'll probably do something like this again at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier. So come back and join us for that talk as well. If you haven't watched WandaVision yet, what are you doing? Get out there and watch it. It was great.
Get on.
All right. Right, exactly. All right, so 5-star crystal, basic. Honestly, it could be ISO. It could be mutant ISO. Because I'm definitely taking up a mutant to rank 3 next.
Who's someone you're looking for right now from the 5-star?
Don't want to say. Because I don't want to be disappointed. I don't even see him in the reel. So there you go.
You're real.
It's not in the reel.
Hyperion right now. With
watching me Falcon or Winter Soldier. Oh man!
Simulator literally just said that. He said, "Watch me."
That's what I'm saying. That's what he said. Now, Magic is somebody I don't have. I wouldn't mind seeing come back. Okay, so 5-star call, which is okay. I have a 6-star call, so
nice.
There we go. So yeah, there was a lot of talk going on about that. But the special crystal I have for you guys today is, while I was doing the talk with them, I was able to grind out enough shards to open up a feature 6-star crystal. In that feature 6-star crystal, we are going to take a quick look at it. Because Cameron doesn't play the game, so he doesn't know what's in there. But champs like Professor X, who I already have, which I wouldn't mind duping, Apocalypse, which I would love to get my hands on. I don't have a 6-star Gambit, but I heard he's pretty good now as a horseman.
Yeah.
Cable, who I don't have as a 5 or 6-star, I wouldn't mind grabbing him. 6-star for my horseman abilities because he's not great by himself, but he's awesome as a horseman. Daredevil's Hell's Kitchen, as he was renamed. Falcon, which I did pull out of this at one point in time already. Wouldn't mind duping him since I just took him to rank 2. You got Killmonger, Elsa Bloodstone, who I have as a 6-star already. Immortal Hulk, who I got my feelings about Immortal Hulk. I wouldn't mind taking him to rank 2 if I pulled him. He's just not the top of my. He's not the immortal champ I want.
It's kind of crazy that all the Hulks they've added in this game, like you think of Hulk, he's in the MCU, the strongest Avenger according to Tony
Stark. Yeah.
And
he's
MCU,
kind of a letdown in the game. Someone that could
puny god. His own way.
Mr. Fantastic, Simula's favorite champ. Spider-Gwen, Wasp, who was my last pull out of this crystal. Please, God, not another Wasp. That was a dupe already. Dragon Man, who I don't have, is a 5 or 6-star. Longshot, who I pulled recently as a 6-star. Man-Thing, who I pulled recently as a 6-star. Dormammu, let's just go by that. And a dupe of my Cosmic Ghost Rider would probably be the cherry on top of this feature crystal. Because I already have him at rank 3.
Or Apocalypse, probably.
Or Apocalypse. Yeah. Or Professor X. Any one of those. Or I would even take Red Goblin. And then there's also Age of Ultron Vision, who I guess is kind of like a sub-feature champ, I guess, in this.
Nice.
Who I have pulled from this crystal already. And then the worst champ in this crystal is Green Goblin. I don't need that in my life. And then Punisher 2099. I've already duped my Green Goblin like two or three times.
I pulled and duped one as well.
I don't need to do that anymore. All right, so we're gonna give it a good old little pet method, and then we're gonna give it a little dance here, and then we're gonna let it spin out. And the first person I seen was Apocalypse. Good Lord, is that a good or a bad sign?
Oh man!
Oh my goodness!
Come on.
These are the worst because you've seen how long I grinded it while we were doing this to get just a little bit of shards I needed so I could block this crystal.
Plus, this is the last chance probably before.
This is the last chance. I'm not going to be able to pull
this
up
crystal changes in a week.
Changes in 5-6 days.
Simula, he's blessing you with a Dragon Man.
Bless me, Dragon Man. I would take a Dragon Man. It would make my rank 2 or rank 3 Mystic decision a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Because right now, Sorcerer Supreme is right there sitting on top for rank 3 as a Mystic. All right, is now coming to a stop. It's not a brand new champ. Oh, I thought it was going to roll over, and it didn't.
Oh,
Awakening on Punisher 2099.
I mean, he was recently buffed.
No.
There's that.
No.
No? Oh.
No.
Cameron, you got any good things to say about Punisher 2099 from the comics?
So, in the comics, Punisher
No, Cameron,
2099
just stop.
It's not going to give him any hope. I was trying to make it.
He's trying. All right, guys. Well, that is going to be it for me on the video. If you did recently pull something great from your last feature crystal chance, put that down in the description below, or put that down in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, make sure that you hit the subscribe button, click the bell. Make sure you go check out my man Cameron over here, or Captain Bay down there. The links will be in the description below. Click on the bell, give him a sub, and I will catch up with you guys on the next video. Until then, it's your boy Ghost Dog signing out. Peace.
Later.
All right, that's the video.
I didn't want to call you out in the video, but you said the first time you said the description is in the link. Instead of the link is in the description.
Somebody will figure it out for me. It's okay.
I didn't want to call you out on the video.
Don't call me out later.
I'll say it in the stream. You
got
it right.
Your blessing of Dragon Man failed me, Simula. Why is Odin bad in Sentry and Thor and Hulk? Why? Odin isn't bad. He's just not great. Description is in the link. Simula, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I heard him say it, and I was like, wait, did he say that? Yeah.
Much Behind comes in just in time to congratulate me on my Punisher 2099 pool. Thanks.
If it makes you feel any better, my last attempt at it was a second dupe of Longshot.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that too.
Technically, I have enough to go for one more before it expires, but I think I might just save it and go for the new feature when it first drops.
Oh, that new feature is going to be rough.
I don't know. So I'm back. I'm still back. It might be like the last minute.
Oda's not going to be in it.
He's not going to be in it. We don't know what the basically like. If Namor ends up being in it, it might be worth.
Yeah, it's what the other champs are.
Yeah, because for me, like I don't have Namor as a 5 or a 6-star.
I'll be going basic from here on out for a while.
I probably should, but you know,
I will be. I need to get Apocalypse as a 6-star. I want to.
He's pretty fun as a 6-star.
Duke my Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
I still need to pull a Dragon Man at some point, and I got a lot of other 6-stars that are really in need of something.
Cameron's sitting there just like, I don't know what any of this means.
I have no clue what any of this means. Cameron, you'll have
the names know that, but you're just like, yeah, I guess that's a good one.
The thing is, because I play Marvel Puzzle Quest, it's a very similar terminology. Yeah. All the same characters, so I'm not as lost as you think. But it's just like I have. So on my Marvel Puzzle Quest, I have, I can pull new characters if I want, and I don't just immediately open whenever I get new characters to possibly come up. In fact, I have stockpiled a crap ton of characters that I haven't tried to open up to see what I get, because they're either 1 or 2 or 3 stars, and I really don't need those in my life. I need 4 stars and 5 stars, which that's as high as it goes.
That was us a couple years ago.
Yep.
Yeah. But as of right now, I have 169 unopened pulls, and I'm not in a hurry to open them because I use them for daily challenges. A lot of times, one of the daily challenges will be something like open 4 covers, and I'll just pull 4 of the covers at random and say, all right, I pulled the 4 covers. I've completed that daily challenge. But yeah, it's super similar. So I'm not totally lost. In fact, I haven't played today.
Yeah, I've been stockpiling my 5-star shards right now, which is essentially the same thing. You pull a 5-star and you get a 5-star character, but I'm sitting at 295,000 shards right now, and you spend 10,000 of those to get one.
But
so
I'm in our
approaching 30 right now that I could open. It's like
our 5-star rosters are way further ahead than anything else in the game.
And just crystals in general, like I'm sitting on 15,000 crystals I haven't opened. You see his right there at the top. It says 2,800.
2862.
Mine says 15,753.
2,768 crystals I haven't opened yet.
It's a lot of.
So do you guys? Is there like a similar leveling system as well?
So, like in terms of like the champion leveling or like your profile?
Yeah.
There's both.
Not your profile, like of the characters.
Yeah.
So like
you can
recently
pull a character.
Go ahead, Captain.
You can pull a character, and then every character has what's called an awaken ability. That you get that awaken ability once you pull that same character a second time, and you get sig levels, so a signature ability level. And that signature ability level goes all the way up to, for 5 and 6 stars, 200. And so each time you pull another copy of that character, it adds on to that level another 20 levels.
What we call signature levels.
Yeah, signature levels or dupes. That's when I said I pulled a second dupe of Longshot earlier. I pulled him 3 times now. First time, second time, got him to 20. A third time, got him to 40. Some characters, it's beneficial to get a higher sig level. Some it doesn't. Some it's like you don't even need to get their awakening ability. And some you don't even want to pull them in the first place. I'm looking at you, Loki. And so yeah.
Hey, I used Loki to help me finish Act 5.4.
Yeah, I know he did for some people. I personally used Medusa. So, but yeah, then you get every character at rank 1. You level them up. From each rank has 20 or has a certain amount of levels. You level them up, then you take them up to the 2nd rank, 3rd rank, 4th rank, 5th rank, rank 5, all that stuff. But it's not in some games where like you have a 5-star and you can make that 5-star into a 6-star. The 5 and 6 stars are completely separate.
Yeah,
like all the star levels are just different. So
yeah. These right here are 2 of my favorite memorabilia that my boy Moose sent me. Do you know what these are, Captain?
Are those the Grandmasters? things?
They are.
That's sick.
These are the grand. So our game
I was gonna
has
say the
characters
Grandmaster's
called
balls, but
the grand, not the ball. No, not the Grandmaster's balls. The Grandmaster and the Collector, which the Collector you were introduced to in Guardians of the Galaxy, and the Grandmaster.
Technically, actually, you were introduced to the Collector in a mid-credit scene of Thor to the Dark World.
That's true. That's true. That's right. I forgot that.
I always wanted to do the actually.
And then the Grandmaster was in Thor Ragnarok.
Yes.
They are in the game. They are brothers who traveled the galaxy. The Collector, Edwin, or however you say his name, had a daughter who is a whole storyline. I really wish they would just release a comic book series on the storyline of the game. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'd actually read it because they actually have, when you join quests and everything, there's a comic book story that goes throughout the quest.
Yep.
And it's just like you can have, there's a button that pops up that says skip. You can just skip it, or you can go through and read it all. But it's just like we go in and we want to fight the quest and get it done. Like,
yeah. So this is like the game is like a whole other dimension of Marvel.
Read the comic storyline and everything, but I'm sure it's a great comic story. Like, I've heard people occasionally be like, "Oh yeah, I read through it. It was actually kind of cool. This and that." I'm like, "Oh." Yeah. I hit skip. It's a lot easier.
Sometimes, yeah, we just hit skip. But I actually do read the storyline in story mode.
Nice.
One time.
I did a stream one time where I did like a voice impressions too. So like I tried to, like if it was a girl, I did like a girl voice.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
You did. Hold on, wait. How did you do the Karina one?
Oh, the Karina. That was a classic.
Yeah.
That was during Steven stream. Oh man, this is my contest now. Whatever it was. It was something. That was fun.
It was crazy. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for hanging out with us tonight. I appreciate that. Come back again. Like I said, if you enjoy content like this, make sure you go, first off, subscribe to Cameron in the description below, the link to his channel. Captain Bay's link to his channel there as well. If you are not subscribed to my channel, what are you doing?
Yeah, subscribe to Ghost Dog, guys.
Please.
Come on.
working to get to 2,000 subs by the summer. So that I can get to 3,000 subs by the end of the year. But yeah, definitely appreciate Cameron for coming out and spending time with us. Captain Bay, thank you very much for. You two were the first two that I thought of when I thought about doing this.
Yeah, appreciate the invite.
Yeah, and
I'm looking forward to doing watch parties for more of this kind of stuff down the road. So
bring you guys back again for when we do it again. Maybe we can get Abdo in next time, as I try to get him in this time. And
yes,
we'll have 4 screens going along with the game.
Wow.
But yeah,
getting serious here.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate that. Let's see if there's anybody that we can raid real quick. Let me. Captain Bay's not streaming. I don't know why he's not streaming.
That guy's lame.
That guy's just
what a loser.
terrible.
Not even streaming. Gosh.
We got. I see
this
Champ and Marcus Pack. You know what? Let's go to Marcus' channel. He's only got 250 subs.
Because
you can hear him talking right there. So click that. I'm going to add that to the description here.
Never seen this person.
Yeah.
Have you?
The tournament helped me find a lot of different people.
Okay. Yeah, I should have done more like paying attention to other people in the tournament. I got knocked out early though, so I stopped paying attention.
Well, when you run the tournament, regardless of when you get
that's right.
out,
yeah, you were. Yeah, that's right.
You kind of pay attention to everybody. All right, so there it is. Hashtag dog raid. Join send that and give Marcus a sub as well. All right, guys. Thank you very much for hanging out. And if you're new to the channel, you've never seen this before, leave a like, leave a comment, join the fam, and I will catch up with you on the next one. Until then, it's your boy Ghost Dog signing out. Peace.